Tops, how you doing? Good, mom.
It seems like
You sit behind the booth. Where's is that sitting next to you, or is he down?
I thought he said we can control from our phone.
Back to school and back to football. From David Noonan Field here in Hillsborough, New Jersey. Hello, everybody. It is Hillsborough High School football here on the HSG Network as we're about to present to you Hillsborough Raiders home opener against the Union Farmers. And what a beautiful breezy night here it is for football. I hope you're enjoying it here. I'm Tom Wilkins, along with Joey Pagan. Behind the controls, Howard Gaber. And Joey, obviously, it's almost turned to page time for Hillsborough. As you can see us in the northwest part of the screen. Let me move the bottle out of the way. But, Joey, obviously, good run last year for Hillsborough. Now, a new set of folks and a new chapter for them.
A new season now, yeah. Hopefully they can finish the season off, with a win in the playoffs this year, We would hope, they started off already the season. I think they lost their first game, so.
That is correct, Joey. A difficult loss. One they weren't necessarily used to this early as Hillsborough fell 21-20 to Somerville. And let's put it to you this way. Somerville came out with a game plan and surprised Hillsborough. Hillsborough didn't even lead the entire game. They got to within one with about a minute and a half left and decided to go for two, but a tremendous defensive play ended the Hillsborough hopes, and Somerville came away with quite the win. Now, with both teams 0-1, somebody's going to come away here, and if Hillsborough is going to make a run this season, tonight must be the start for them.
Tonight would have to be where they start. Yes, tonight they have to come out fired up and fired on all cylinders and ready to go tonight. Make sure they, control the ball, make sure they have no stupid penalties or anything like that, and and try to maintain, possession and score as quick as possible and maintain the possession of the ball.
Well, as you'll notice, below our box is the Hillsborough football squad who is about to take the field in just a moment. The cheerleaders getting the signage up, and of course the Seven Nation Army, meaning their student section, jumping up and down and getting themselves ready for the home opener. And obviously they're psyched after the disappointment last week. They definitely would like to change things around. Kevin Carty's crew getting ready to start the home session here. This is also the second of 3 road games in a row. Here comes Hillsborough. And obviously this is going to be an exciting time for them as we're going to be seeing some new players here, and one of them is going to be their quarterback, Ryan Seaman, who is a senior, and he played in the first game. We'll mention his stats momentarily, but I think his play is going to be key against this Union defense.
Well, hopefully his play, being a senior, he's got enough experience where, he can maintain possession, control the ball, and, offense can, move the ball up and down the field the way they should. At least when you have a senior quarterback, you should be okay in what you're trying to do with your offense.
And last week, Ryan was 14-23 for 117 yards, which wasn't bad, but he threw 2 interceptions. Hopefully, better luck this time around. So I'm trying to figure out here what we're doing. So they're going to do the coin flip in just a moment, but what are your keys to the game, Joy? What do you expect to see on both sides?
Well, Hillsborough always, the last year when I was out here, they had a good defense. So I'm looking to see hopefully an electrified defense again. And, the quarterback, he didn't have a bad first game, but, a couple of mistakes. He needs to make sure he minimizes his mistake this evening so that, they can maintain possession of the ball and not make any crucial mistakes, get ahead of, stay in front of the sticks pretty much.
Well, let's also understand that Union fell 34-0 to Seton Hall Prep last week. So what they're going to do now is they're going to have the coin toss, and Hillsborough will bring out their captains, Ryan Seaman, along with 73 Garrett Roebuck, Joey Battoglia 75, and Matthew Bleemer number 77. So Hillsborough's in their alternate black uniforms today with black helmets and of course garnet or maroon cursive on their helmets. Union will be in the road white uniforms with maroon pants and white helmets and maroon initialing as well. So we don't have the cast of characters, the officiating crew for the game yet. We will get it to you hopefully soon once it comes along. But and unfortunately, we don't have any mics today, but we will hopefully work on that in a couple weeks' time. So obviously, you can see in the middle of the field, the giant H is the is the referee, obviously showing the heads and tails on both sides here. Now, as they always say here in high school football, rules are different in comparison to other leagues as well as to college and professional ball. All right, they just did the flip, and it looks like, I think Hillsboro, it looks like they have won the toss, but they will choose in the second half, and it looks like Union will get the ball first. We'll see how we're going to have to figure out which way they go. A little bit of a light breeze today, 73 degrees at kickoff. No weather issue except for the little breeze. Probably be down at 67 degrees when it's all said and done here tonight. And needless to say, you can see the cameraman also getting good shots of both sides as they have the ceremonial home opening coin toss. So Union will go left to right, Hillsboro right to left. We'll switch sides in the second quarter, and I think we're going to have a pretty good battle here on our hands. Joey, I'll get you in just a minute, but I believe, I'm trying to think here, as I just went blank, I think we will have the national anthem, but, so what we'll do here, so the band will play it in a couple weeks, but let's get in our national anthem and back in a moment. All right, just heard our national anthem here from Hillsboro High School. As I said, in 2 weeks' time, our next home game, we'll get the band to do their performance. So, Joey, obviously, Union had a tough start. Hillsboro had a bit of a tough start, a little bit of a surprising start. Somebody has to come to the top. What are your keys to this game for both teams?
For both teams, it's ball possession. You know, you want to maintain ball possession. You don't want to make any silly mistakes early on in this game and turn the ball over and give the opportunity for the other team to score. So, you know, I think, you know, field position and ball possession, you know, is key. You know, I know Hillsboro's defense played pretty well last week. They got a couple of outstanding players there. So, you know, they got to come out fired up on defense again.
Well, they had a very good second half last week against Somerville. As a matter of fact, Anthony Guerrero had a 42-yard fumble return for a score that got him back in the game, even though Hillsboro fell a little short. But as they say, like Metallica and Battoglia said, turn the page.
Yeah, he did well, you know. Hopefully he can have another outstanding game tonight. You know, he had 2 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and 1 forced fumble also. So, you know, that was pretty good. If he can maintain that tonight, we'd be great.
And we are underway here from Hillsboro. Looks like a directional kick that was going to stay in bounds and then drops out at about the 23. So obviously flag out of bounds for the kickoff there. And Union will have very good field position for their starters. Now, Joey, something else to consider. Union has not beaten Hillsboro since October 18th, 2013 when they won 35-28. Hillsboro has won the last 4 meetings, and the last 2 were defensive struggles. 14-6 2 years ago here, 15-7 last year in Union.
Wow, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I mean, you can see that both teams, they pretty much know each other, and they feel each other out. And you know, so once again, you know, it's who gets the quick start tonight and who gets the momentum quickly.
All right, well, Union will get the football first, and since the kickoff went out of bounds, they're going to place at the 35-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Farmers from there. Let's see what they do on that very first play. It's going to be a handoff right side, and Hillsboro is right there and waiting for a 1-yard loss.
Was good defense there. The defensive line, got good penetration on that play, and were able to get in the backfield and make a quick play.
Well, it is no gain on the play, and Roebuck with the tackle there. So a good defensive start for Hillsboro as it is 2nd and 10. Quarterbacking, by the way, looks like 17 listed there. That's Matthew Nigro, the junior. Has a single back here and a receiver on the left side for 2nd and 10 as we are in the first drive of this contest, week 2 here for New Jersey high school football. It's a handoff up the middle and not very much, maybe a yard or two. That's about it. And that forces a 3rd and 8. Meyer with the tackle and Union with a 3rd and long, but it looks like there's a Hillsboro player shaken up.
Yeah, it looked like he got hurt on that tackle there, making that play. So
that would be, Mateo DelToro. That's a key member of the Hillsboro defense here.
Yeah, he came flying up on that play and big hit inside the hole, so maybe he got a stinger.
It is very possible. I'm probably banned preemptively played, but he may have just had to win knocked out of him for a second. He's jogging off on his own power. I mean, you got to consider Hillsboro. They return, of course, on defense some key players: Matt Bleemer, Garrett Meyer, Xander Borowski, John Mickelsen, and Joey Battoglia. And now, of course, you had Meyer, who had 44 tackles last year. And don't forget about DelToro, who we just saw, who was shaken up a little bit on that last play.
Right, so they have other players out there who can help out on this defense, but you definitely don't want him on the sideline too long. He's a key player in their defense, so you want him back out there.
They spread out here on 3rd and 8 from the 37. Nigro back the pass. He's looking, he fires left, and that pass, I believe is, did they rule it complete? Yes, they did.
Good pass.
No. They said he did not have possession of the ball. I think it's the side official who overruled it and said he never had possession. So 3 and out go Union, unless they choose to go for it in their own territory.
Well, they got the punter out there right now. But it's good defense. Good defense. It was a good play call too. Union had the right play call just now. Hillsboro got lucky on that he wasn't able to come down with that ball in bounds.
Well, Nigro threw for 45 yards last week against Seton Hall Prep, and there he almost had a first down, but the receiver just couldn't hang on to the ball. Here comes a big rush by Hillsboro, but the punt is away, and a fair catch taken at the 35-yard line. And Santiago makes the grab, and Hillsboro will have their first home offensive possession of the year. And something to consider for Hillsboro, last 8 games of 2023, they only averaged 10 per game, but their defense carried them in a big way. But now you got definitely some key players that left us. John LaBello, Shane Powell, Tyler Van Cleef, obviously have since graduated. But we'd have the senior Jackson Jankowicz, who had 1,000 yards rushing last year. And now comes the new quarterback for Hillsboro, Ryan Seaman, who stands in the shotgun on 1st and 10, will throw right, and it's a good catch, taking it about the 40, maybe the 41-yard line. And again, it's Santiago who made the fair catch and just made the first catch. Dakari Duggar with the stop.
It was a good pitch and catch there. The defense was playing kind of soft, and it was a quick play. It's almost just as good as a run. You get 5 yards on a quick out, and you keep the ball moving. You get your quarterback hot. You get him started where you want him to be right now, and keep the defense guessing right now, huh?
Do you think Union needs to possibly put some multiple defenses to try and confuse this the quarterback?
It definitely would benefit them to try to switch up the defense, try to disguise a little more than what they're doing.
All right, Santiago in motion, and here is Jankowicz with a carry, and he is immediately swallowed down at the 39-yard line for a 2-yard loss. Good stop on the part of Enoch and Nadarian, I believe. He's a senior, but he made a great tackle there and forces a 2-yard loss, and it makes it 3rd and 7.
Great play by the defense. They got penetration. Offensive line missed a couple of key blocks there. Jankowicz, he's great. Once he gets started, You got to be careful with him. He's fire. So That right now that, they managed to stop him on that one play, but I don't think they're going to be able to do that all night long.
I think the key is when he gets started.
Started.
The sooner the better for Hillsborough.
Yes.
3rd and 7 from the 39-yard line as Seaman's in the shotgun. They go spread here back to the left. Seaman back, a little bit of a rush coming. The pass is caught at the sticks. We'll see where they spot it. It's going to be Santiago with the catch, but it looks like he's about a yard and a half short of a first down. Green with the stop, and Hillsborough 2 yards shy. They probably didn't get a great spot, but the officials say it's going to be 4th and 2.
And they see that Hillsborough, they're bringing out the punting unit, huh?
Well, better safe than sorry. I mean, you're almost 3.5 minutes in, so.
Yeah, it's early.
So even though it wasn't the best of spots, they still wouldn't have gotten the first down anyway. Punting looks like Nate Drab, who's a senior. He'll be standing at about the 31-yard line.
Number 10, Dakari Duggar, back to receive.
Duggar to return. He's standing at his 20. And we got flags down first.
Flag on the play.
Procedure, looks like.
We'll find out. It is a false start against Hillsborough, so I'll back it up 5 yards. So they back it up 5, and we will try this again. And this early in the year, you have to understand, Joe, you're going to get more procedural fouls, offense and defense, when it comes to snap counts.
Yeah, it's early in the season still. The teams are still trying to get themselves together, figure each other out. So, offensively and defensively.
Duggar again stands back, and here's the punt. And it's a pretty good punt. He stands out of the way. That's going to be inside the 20, all the way down to the 12, maybe the 11.
Great punt. Great punt.
That was not a drab punt, I can tell you that.
No.
That was a beautiful punt.
Beautiful punt. And this is the keys, right? You give back the ball to Union, but field position right now, they don't have great field position. They weren't able to do anything their first possession. You want Hillsborough to be able to hold them down again and possibly force another 3 and out and get better field position for their offense.
Hey, we'll take a 47-yard punt. So, and to be honest with you, I'm actually surprised that Dakari didn't try and catch that punt. He stepped out of the way. It cost him a good 15 yards of field position.
Yeah, fair catch. He just got underneath it and catch the ball. But when we moved away and look, it cost him.
All right, Nigro back in here, 1st and 10. Actually, they may have switched quarterbacks here. Looks like number 0, O'Malley King, the senior. He's in for a possession here. 3 wide slot left. He rolls left. Going to fire left. And the pass looks like it's caught. Yep, they say so. And that one is caught by Duggar, who ends up probably getting a first down, depending on the spot of the ball. He was out pretty much right at the sticks. So they're going to say the 22-yard line. Yep, first down a game, and it goes to Union.
It's pretty much they ran that same play where the other receiver didn't come down with the ball. He ran it, the quarterback rolled out, and receiver didn't out, and they were able to complete it.
And you'll notice O'Malley King, much taller than Nigro by 5 inches. He's 6'5", taller than me.
So he's able to see the field a little better then.
Indeed. 1st and 10 for the 22. Here's a handoff up the middle, and not much there as Hillsborough again closes the defense up. The run by Zaire Nash, the junior, for maybe about 2 yards.
Well, defense came up again really strong. Their linebackers filled their holes the way they're supposed to, and they made a play for a short gain, which is good.
Number 6, Zaire Nash with carry.
So, we have to see what Union comes up with on 2nd and 8. They dial up.
They're going to give him 2 on the play. So it'll be 2nd and 8 from the 24-yard line. No score here near the midway part of first quarter. Glad you're with us here on HSG Network. Hope you're enjoying the new scoreboard, too. Oh, yeah, I actually like it myself. 3 wide slot right, 2nd and 8. Here's King back to pass, firing, pass caught. Will not be for much down to the 29-yard line. Duggar with the catch and the stop by Ozokopor, and he's going to be a very key player for this Hillsborough defense.
Yeah, I think for Hillsborough, I think they should try to move up their corners just a little bit more on the press, especially if they're going to sit in the 2, depending on down and distance. You don't want to give them too much of a cushion. So what's happening is, the corners are giving them too much of a cushion, and the receivers are just simply running a quick out and able to get the 5-yard completion.
Keep in mind, too, Union gave up 2 safeties last week to Seton Hall Prep. One was on offense and one was on special teams.
So
and now wait a second, timeout called by Union. So we will stay here for the moment with 5:38 left here in the first and no score in the game. What are you seeing so far, Joey, with these two teams?
So far, right now, Hillsboro defensively, they're locked in on the run. They're able to stop the run. They're controlling the line of scrimmage there. But once again, like I said, I feel that the corners are playing a little soft and bailing too quickly and giving up those 5-6 yard outs. As far as Union is they're okay offensively. They're trying to run, but I think they're going to wind up trying to pass more. I think which is the reason why they switched quarterbacks. He's obviously taller. He's probably got a stronger arm. So, they're going to try to work with that.
Well, consider, too, last week.
Union.
I'm sorry, we kind of lost herself for a second. But Zaire Nash last week ran for 32 yards. And also on the receiving end, for some reason, thing went. Jaden Forbes, the junior, had 33 receiving yards. So after the timeout, 3rd and 2 from the 30-yard line as King lines up in the shotgun. And he's going to call his own number, try and get around. He loses the football. Let's see who has it. Wow. I think King fell on it. We'll see where they spot it.
He did fall on it.
And depending on where he fell on it will mean a measurement possibly. And no, he did get the first down. So a lucky bounce for the quarterback O'Malley King. Lost the football, bounced back to him, and voila. That's not necessarily the way you draw up getting a first down, but they got it.
By no means you want to be able to get a first down in that manner, but you'll take it at this moment, right? It's a game of inches, as we know.
And considering Union start their own 12-yard line, at least they are out of danger, but still in their own territory with 5 minutes left here in the first. King now in the shotgun, back to his left, the 4-receiver set tripling the far side. King will look over to Hillsboro D. See what he does. He takes a snap, looks. He's under pressure, and he's going to have he ends up throwing this somewhere out to Bellamy.
There's no grounding there?
We'll see if they call grounding. We're not sure. We'll see exactly what they're talking about here, if they decide to throw the flag or not. If not, it is a lucky incompletion, and the referee says no grounding. He might have gotten out of the box just in time. But you also got to remember, did the ball ever get back to the line of scrimmage?
Well, there was no obvious receiver. There was obviously no receiver in the area. So, the refs obviously made the call, and their judgment was that, it wasn't past intentional grounding. I thought it was.
Well, Kevin Carty Jr. not happy at all with the non-call, but I'm guessing that the pocket was broken, and even though the ball never got back to the line of scrimmage, the head referee had the last say on it. So 2nd and 10, here's a pitch out, and running around left side, and maybe getting a yard again, Zaire Nash.
Good job by the defense stringing that out, on that toss. The defensive end never gave up the edge. He continued to maintain his outside position, and the rest of the defense was able to rally and make a play on that, which was great.
Meyer and DelToro teamed up on the tackle, and no gain on the play. So after a couple of lucky breaks, Union now at a 3rd and 10 in their own territory. They're spotting the ball at the 33-yard line.
All right.
Let's see how they line up. It looks like they're going to triple the right side here in a 4-receiver set. Back to the right of King, who's in the shotgun. Waiting on the snap. See what Hillsboro does on D here. Taking the snap is King in the pocket, looking. Going to go with a home run ball. He's got a man, and it is. Oh, good night. Welcome to the end zone. Elijah Green, a 68-yard strike, and that was a perfect strike by O'Malley King, and Union scores first.
Wow. The defender just allowed him to get behind him. They were trying to press, and it backfired on him. I thought they shouldn't have been in man at that moment. I thought they should have stayed in that zone that they were in, but They were trying to get some more pressure on him.
And Union took the shot after having a couple of lucky bounces go their way. They went with a home run ball, and that was out of the park.
Great pass, great catch. Good concentration by the receiver.
That's a tremendous job by Union as they get their first points of the season on a 68-yard strike. Now the extra point. Nigro will hold for the kicker, and let's see how this goes. The snap, kick on its way, and it made it through. Kick is good. Kicker, by the way, is Zion Lake, the senior, so he makes the extra point, and Union with a 7-0 lead over Hillsboro. And I'll tell you what, you got to see this replay to believe it. I mean, that was as perfect of a pass and just enough time for O'Malley King to find his
Here we
man.
go. We have it here. Trips to the right. You know, the quarterback's looking around, see where we look like we're in a cover 3, it should be, but I don't know what happened to the middle safety. He stepped up. The middle safety read wrong and stepped up. He picked somebody up, and that was it.
And look at the arc of that ball, and went right over the head of Jalen Carter. That was a perfect throw.
Yeah.
Give O'Malley King credit. That was quite a throw there. And a 68-yard touchdown strike. Union scores first, and Hillsboro's like, here we go again like last week.
Yep. Now Hillsboro's got to come back on offense and make a statement. They got to answer. They got to get great field position here on this return, and then get something working on offense.
They were given a bad hand on the last drive. Now it's a matter of responding, as you said, Joey, but we'll see what happens. All right, Union will kick it off. And that's going to go out of bounds. So Hillsboro will get to the 35-yard line on that kickoff going out of bounds.
Yeah, it seems like both kickers, haven't been able to keep the ball in the field of play here.
Well, you gotta definitely try and kick in the field of play, even if it's not returnable. Make sure you get in an area where, I'm also thinking too that maybe they don't want to kick to Jackson Jankowicz.
That's a strong possibility. I mean, you would be smart to not kick it to them, but you don't want to kick it out of bounds and continue to give them the ball on the 35-yard line. That's good field position still.
All right, back in the game is quarterback Ryan Seaman. 1st and 10 from the 35, back to pass, looking, going to take a shot down the middle, and it's almost intercepted by the guy who just had the touchdown. Elijah Green went in and out of his hands. Boy, that would have been more the hat trick there if he got that.
Yeah, if he would have come down with that, that would have been a crushing blow to Hillsboro there. He played it right. He stayed underneath. He had help over the top, so he just trailed right there, and he got underneath the ball, and the pass wasn't a good pass, so... lucky for Hillsboro, he didn't intercept that one.
All right, 2nd and 10 for the 35-yard line. Let's see what Green gets this time. Oh, he's going to call his own number, and he'll sneak in and maybe get a yard to the 36. He maybe not got a yard at all. But it's going to be 3rd and long for Hillsboro. Right now, their offense is not clicking at the moment.
They're not clicking. They are struggling, and they were doing well with Santiago those first series, with getting him the ball quickly for 5 to 6 yards, and here he has been a non-factor. I mean, he did a couple of routes over the middle, but the outside is where he did most of his damage.
3rd and 9, they're going to say from the 36. They will give him the yard. And right now, this is a pretty big play for Ryan Seaman. Now, remember, he didn't throw a touchdown pass last week. He would like to try and just move him down the field and get him in better position here. They go spread. They bunch a little bit to the left. And now Seaman will take it. They're rushing. They're going to take a shot down the field, and that one is right past Jankowicz. Incomplete, but good coverage by Elijah Green, who was able to knock it away, and Hillsboro will have to punt.
Right now, this first quarter belongs to Elijah Green right there from Union. He's doing it all at the moment, shutting down Hillsboro by himself on defense, and then, defeating them on offense. So, I mean, Hillsboro should have, looked to do what they did that first series and go shorter rather than go for...
it wasn't the prettiest deep ball down to the far side, but it was effective. They were trying to get it to their big guy in Jankowicz, but good presence of mind by Elijah to be able to knock it away. All right, punting this time again is Drab, standing as 24, and he gets it away. A shorter punt this time. and it will roll to a stop at the 43-yard line. So that's where Union will begin with 2:29 left here in the first. Union with a 7-0 lead, and now Hillsboro's defense is got to be up to the challenge here. Tell you what, let's just take a look at the replay that Seaman just threw.
All right, so we got a formation we have here, 2-by-2. Yeah, twins right, twins left. Looks like Union was in just a man defense, really. Yeah, and they were in man defense. Safety was covered on the slot receiver. Looks like Union's playing a man. They're not afraid of the Hillsboro receivers here.
Well, I think they put their best player on Jankowicz, I would think.
I would assume so, yes. You are correct on that.
So Union now with the ball, 1st and 10 for their own 43-yard line. Had an 88-yard drive the first time. Now here's a handoff going maybe
nowhere.
A yard. David Gardner, the senior, with a carry for maybe a yard, depending on the spot. They may not have gotten one at all, the way it's looking. So Hillsboro's run defense has been very good.
Number 57, Xander Borowski.
Borowski and Carsey with the stop there.
Stop. Yeah.
So no gain there, and they'll be 2nd and 10 at the 2-minute mark.
And once again, like I said, Hillsboro, they are winning that line of scrimmage, as far as the rushing goes. They're able to stop Union's rushing attack, but they're not getting any real penetration when they're passing.
Well, O'Malley King has done a fantastic job so far with his one drive. Let's see what happens here on 2nd and 10 for the 43-yard line. Hold on a second. The play never happened. By the way, back in the game is Nigro. And it's a false start. That'll back it up 5 yards.
Oh, we'll take that. Hillsboro can use all the help they can get at the moment. You know what I'm saying? That whatever we can get, we'll take it right now. But what I am seeing defensively is that we're still playing very soft. And we're going to give up that short pass, at some point. They now seem to be they're afraid of the deep ball. The way to defeat that is we got to get more pressure from our line and possibly blitz a backer and hopefully create some pressure and force him to throw off his back foot or make a bad pass.
And this is where Borowski, DelToro, Meyer, Bleemer, they need to step it up and make sure the pressure is on that quarterback. And again, it's Nigro in there as they've rotated here. They spread here on 2nd and 15. Nigro back. He may call his own number. He will. And it looks like there's a flag where he slides down back into 43, but there may be a hold or an illegal block in the back. I have a tendency that it's going to come back.
About 5 yards. Flag on the play.
Let's see what they call here.
Because usually if it's behind the line of scrimmage, it's usually an offensive penalty, and holding is the call here. We'll see if Hillsboro accepts it.
They accept it.
And remember, in high school football, it's 10 yards from the spot, I would think.
Holding on the offense.
Well, I'm not sure, but because of the hold, is what opened up that lane for him to rush.
25.
But the defensive linemen, they need to maintain the integrity of their rushing lanes. The both tackles and the defensive ends, they got to make sure that they maintain that, because if not, this young man will take off and run on them just the way he did now. Fortunately, they got a holding penalty, and it helped Hillsboro out right here, but we'll see what happens.
Well, following the 10-yard penalty, the ball is spotted at the 27. They got a long way to go. 2nd and 26, the way it's looking right here. Ball to 27. They're going to go spread here, back to the right of Nigro. He'll wait the shotgun snap. Rolls to his right. Now he backs up. He has a throw and the pass is complete to one of the Hillsboro coaches. Incomplete.
That was great pressure off the edge. He came off that edge flying, which was really good, and he chased him down. I didn't think he was going to get there, but he almost did.
And again, pressure. Schwarz was the one who applied the pressure and forced the incompletion, and that forces 3rd and super long.
Yeah, so Hillsboro needs to figure out another way to come up with some more pressure here to keep him unbalanced. This way he doesn't be able to set his feet and throw the ball downfield or take off running himself.
All right, 48 seconds left in the first. 3rd and 26 from the 27-yard line. Line of gain is the 47 of Hillsboro, and they don't want another deep one like the last. Nigro will hand this one off, and
good
Hillsboro
play.
was ready for it. Gardner with the carry. He got to the 29, but that's about it, and Union will punt. And they might be able to punt before the quarter's over.
Yep. It's a good tackle by number 73 from Hillsboro there. He came up with a good tackle. A little shoestring thing there, but it was good. Good enough for a loss.
Well,
now we got 4th down.
The other quarterback, O'Malley King, he's the punter. He will take the punt and launch a pretty good one, taking it about the 40-yard line. Oh, this tackle there, and trying to move around the other side
flag
to
on
get
the
to the 46-yard line. Something went down. I don't know if it was yellow or not.
Let's see if it was. I'm not sure. Okay.
Yeah, Santiago brought it back 6 yards, but I'm willing to bet for he caught the ball, and then all of a sudden something flew out. So I'm thinking it's a beanbag for the spot.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. It was the beanbag for the spot.
Well, he had the spot. Of course, next month it might be something pink instead.
Hey, that would make it a lot easier, though. You know it's not a yellow flag.
Well, for Hillsboro, 9 seconds left, probably the last play of the quarter, barring an incompletion or a huge score here, from their own 46. Seaman in the shotgun. And they're going to go with an inside handoff, making through one tackle and getting back to midfield straight, Andrew Schwarz for about 4 yards. So the clock runs out. We've reached quarter time here in Hillsboro, and what Hillsboro needs to do is try and level things up. After 1, Union 7, Hillsboro nothing. Guess we'll break. Quarter number 2 comes your way after this.
For the Raiders from the 50-yard line.
Okay, we're back here, Hillsboro High School, David Noonan Field. I'm Tom Wilkins. Joey Pagan with me, Howard Gabe with the controls. We begin quarter number 2. Union a 7-0 lead over Hillsboro thanks to a 68-yard touchdown strike from O'Malley King to Elijah Green in the first quarter. Now Hillsboro moving left to right, 2nd and 6 in the midfield strike. And here's Jankowicz going to try and get some room, and he may get 2 to about the 48. So it sets a 3rd and 4, so hey, they can do either or, Joey.
Yes, now you have an option. You have an option. You can, go further on in your playbook and figure out, you can play action here and try to get something downfield, maybe take a shot or, at least something to get the first down here. I mean, you got a great running back in Jankowicz, and, they have yet to go back to their receiver here, Santiago. I'm not sure why not, but they need to get him back involved in this offense because he was moving the ball for them in that first drive.
Let's see what happens here on this 3rd and 4 play from the Union 48. Seaman in the shotgun, back to his left. Going back, throw short, pass is caught, and it's the first down of the game for Hillsboro. That is Chimmy Ozokopor, and he's the key tight end for this club. You can move those chains for the first time.
You can move the chains for the first down. Yes, sir. Great play by the offense there. He just simply ran the seam, sat in the soft spot, found a little comfort zone there, and he was able to throw the ball and make a catch, and then got some yak out of it, which was great.
And good decision-making by Seaman that time. He saw Ozokopor open, found him, and away he went. So let's see if they can continue this. That's a gain of 13. 1st and 10 from the 35. And this time between split backs is Seaman, who will take the snap, play fake. Under pressure, he's going to take a shot. He's got Jankowicz.
Oh.
Now there's a flag down at the point where it went incomplete. Right. Let's see who banged into who.
Let's see. See what this call is going to be.
We'll find out. Not sure who did what. And there's one also at the line of scrimmage, so
Two
we may
flags.
have offsetting fouls. Let's find out. Well, they're talking to Cardi, the head coach, so this could both go on Union. Let's find out. The signal, okay, defensive holding is one. That's been refused. There's a personal foul for roughing the passer, and that will be a first down for Hillsboro at the 20-yard line.
That's awesome. 2 penalties on one play, and
And both on the defense,
Both
so
on the
Hillsboro
defense.
gets another first down. They're going to move the ball into the edge of the red zone.
you want to be able to get the offense rolling, but you'll take it how you can. It's a penalty, right?
That's exactly right.
First and 10 Raiders from the 20-yard line.
So, hopefully this sparks the offense a little bit, and they can get it into the end zone here.
Well, let's see what happens here. Tell you what, Hillsboro got a couple breaks here. Might have canceled out the bad breaks they took in the first quarter. Now Seaman has a trip on the left side here as they give it to Jankowicz. He'll go up the middle, and the line pushes to about the 15-yard line. They'll give him the 16, so it'll be a gain of 4.
Gain of 4. Good run again. Once again, trying to keep the defense, honest. They don't want to do anything crazy here. Trying to make sure they don't, make a mistake with the ball. So running it would be the best thing. And when you got a back like Jankowicz, you want to do all that you can with him. Jankowicz.
McDowell with the stop, the senior for Union. So 2nd and 6 from the 16-yard line. Jankowicz next to Seaman here. They'll spread in a 4-receiver set. Now Jank will line to his left. Seaman goes back. He's under a rush. He'll lob. It's got a shot. It's caught. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. Welcome to the end zone.
Great pass, great catch.
Andrew Schwarz spikes through a 16-yard touchdown strike, and there goes
lights go crazy.
LED celebration for Hillsboro.
Look at
as
that.
they're a point away from tying it up.
How great was that? The stadium lights were on and off. What a celebration. A great pass, great catch. It's exactly what you look for here.
Now here's... So... Let's see. Of course, the Hillsboro did not make an extra point last week. We're going to see if they can make one right here to try and tie the game. Here's the snap. Kick on its way. Does just that. And we're level 7 apiece.
We have a whole new ball game now.
Andrew Advani with the extra point ties the game with 10:01 left till halftime. And I think we got to cue up that great touchdown grab by Schwarz. What'd you see, Joey?
Okay. Let me see where Schwarz was here. Okay, he was the slot receiver here, so they were trying to, play. They're playing man again once again. He just simply ran, a corner, a skinny post to the corner, and it was a good pass. QB put it exactly where he's supposed to, outside shoulder where no one else can get to the ball but him. Great catch. Touchdown.
And
the
key is he held control. His knee went down inbounds. It ends it all.
That is correct.
That made the play right there. All right, before kickoff, some progress scores. Phillipsburg 14-3 over Westfield. Somerville pulled off that surprise last week, 7-0 over Cranford. They continue their run. Woodbridge 7-3 over Watchung Hills. A couple other games coming up later as now the kickoff taking at the 25-yard line, going down to about the 36-yard line. The 3 games, Bridgewater Raritan at Piscataway, Edison at Old Bridge, and Monroe at Hunterdon Central. That's later.
It was a good kick, good return. Let's see what Union decides that they want to do now. Do they want to go back to the same quarterback, or are they going to go back to the other one that they brought in?
Well, remember, each team has a different program, and they have a different set of circumstances they deal with depending on the talent that they have. And the coach's job is to try and make sure that talent is elevated to give them the best possible chance to win, given the structure that's being presented.
That is correct. But, when they were a little more successful when they had O'Malley King in there at the quarterback spot. So let's see what they do now.
Well, King is back in, by the way.
He is back out there.
You can tell, 6'5". You can't miss him.
You can't miss that kid. He is so tall. Yes, sir.
All right, they're going 3-wide slot right here. 1st and 10. Ball spot to 36. O'Malley King in the shotgun with it back to his right. Now they're changing the play. Going back to pass, looking, flag down. And
Get him.
trying to get out. He cannot. He's going down.
That
And
was
it is
big.
a sack. Borowski. And also helping out is Giuseppe Ciccari.
Hey, way to go, Giuseppe.
Now let's check the flag. And if it's a hold, and Hillsborough will refuse if it's a hold. They haven't signaled yet though. And usually when the official goes to a bench, the penalty is on the opposing team. Oh, it's a formation foul, but it's going to be declined anyway. So it's a big sack, and they're gonna spot it, I guess, at the 30-yard line.
31-yard line.
And I forgot to mention, still not used to the scoreboard, although it's great. They had ball on the 31-yard line now. That's something we didn't have before on HSG Network.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We are advancing eventually.
This time, the defensive line did a great job in maintaining and keeping him in the pocket. You know, they didn't allow him to go anywhere. So,
all right, there was an official's timeout trying to explain how everything went. So Hillsborough still has all 3 timeouts. Union has 2. So now the ball is spotted at the 31-yard line, rather. And so following the declining of that penalty, it is 2nd and 15 from the 31. So Hillsborough is starting to put the pressure with their defense on Union's offensive line. And although O'Malley King's extremely talented, he's going to have to do more to try and get things down the field as the game progresses.
Hillsborough showing blitz here, and they come off the edge with it, too.
Got flagged out as a handoff is only going to be for a yard.
Might be
Garland
offside.
with the carry, but let's see what this is all about. And for the second time in a row, an illegal formation foul. And no gain on the play. So 2 declined penalties, and it's 3rd and 15. And Union, well, I wouldn't be surprised they try and go down the field with this one being 3rd and long.
Who knows? They may want to take another shot downfield again. Seeing how they had success with it, but Hillsborough defensive line now started to wake up a little bit and getting some pressure. And that last play, they blitzed off the edge with both linebackers. So, the defensive coordinator is trying to create a little more pressure for them.
Well, even though they might be pressuring, you can't always play soft in the back because that's what burned you a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
King in the shotgun, 4 receivers, a triple to right, back to his right. King on 3rd and 15 takes a snap. He's looking, going to take a shot down the field, and way too high, incomplete.
Yeah,
to the Union bench.
This time, Hillsborough had great coverage. They had the safeties over the top to help out just in case. And, the coverage underneath was good, so he had nowhere to go with the ball. He made the right decision by throwing the ball out of bounds.
O'Malley King, who basically reminds me of Danny White when I was growing up, quarterback and punter. Well, O'Malley King is just that. He'll be the one punting from about the 17-yard line.
Good
Got
punt.
it high in the air. Going to take a bounce, and letting it go is Santiago, and it is down at about the 27. The good news is it didn't keep rolling and rolling.
Yeah. Not sure why these kids are not catching the ball this evening.
And you wonder if nerves on both sides could be the issue.
I get the nerve. I get the nervousness, but he could have gotten underneath that with no problems. I mean, maybe he lost in the lights. I don't think so. He pointed it out right away where the ball was going to land. So he obviously saw where it was. He should have been able to get underneath that and fair catch it if that was the case.
They're going to spot it, I believe, the 27, 28-yard line. But it will be 1st and 10 for Hillsborough.
Ball's down on the 27-yard line right now. You have a 2-by-2 formation.
Well, they're going modified here. 1st and 10 for the 27. And now going shotgun. Seaman back. Will have a little time. Throw left pass caught. and dragged down about the 32-yard line. That's a good tackle. It was caught by Jankowicz, but a good tackle by Duggar there for a short
It
game.
was a good tackle by the defender, yeah. You know, he grabbed the shoestring, but he made the tackle. You know, he saved the big gain there because he would have definitely been able to take off on that.
Actually, I think it was Green that got the tackle on her. But anyway, it's a 4-yard pickup, and from the 31, it's 2nd and 6. 3 wide, slot right, and now they're going to do a handoff. And once again, Union's defense. Oh, wait, a late flag came down at the end of that one. Schwarz was the one who lost the yard, but let's see what the penalty is about. It came after the play. It came after the play, so we'll see what the officials discuss. Now, of course, both teams are going to point at the other saying it's on them, but the guy in the white cap has the final say.
I think it's going to be against Hillsboro. They may be like some kind of an unnecessary. Let me see here.
It is a personal foul.
Yep.
And, it is against Hillsboro, it looks like. The official didn't know which way he was pointing his arm for a second.
Well, I one of the offensive linemen he had one of the defensive players driving him back like 10, 15 yards back, and he wound up pushing him at the end there. I think that's the penalty that they called.
Well, the question is, does the down count?
2nd and 22 for the Raiders.
Well, they're gonna say stick with 2nd down, so it's 2nd and 22 after the major penalty. So Seaman, back in the shotgun, will take the snap and roll right. Let's see what he does. Gonna take a shot down the field, and that one is incomplete. And talk about being tagged. Santiago looked like he was being tugged a lot, and now a late flag comes down. That may be on Union for that particular play. It took a while for a flag to come down.
I think the flag is against Union for holding there.
You are correct.
Santiago really had him beat down the sideline. So, you know, for me, it is a penalty, but it's not a bad penalty. It's a penalty that I would take as a defensive coordinator because you don't want to give up that big play. That if he doesn't do that right there, and Santiago gets underneath that, it's 6 points.
Well, they move it to the 25. Now, I don't know. And now, remember, if this were the pros to be an automatic first down, but in high school, might have different rules here. So, no automatic first down here in this league. So, it's 2nd and 12 from the 25, and now might be 2nd and 7. Because now Union jumped before the ball even moved. So, that's a neutral zone infraction. So all of a sudden, the 15 yards on the personal foul, gone just like that.
We got it back. Yeah, so we just have to make sure that, you know, Hillsboro gets it together right now and gets doing what they're doing so that this way they can get a first down here and keep this drive going.
They tripled right on 2nd and 7 from the 34 receiver set. Schwarz to the left of Seaman. We'll wait to snap here. And he'll take it.
Back.
Looking, has time. Now he's going to roll left. Let's see what he does. He's going to try and run. Oh, he is
big hit on the sideline
for a 1-yard loss. And now a late flag comes in after
that.
And flag football continues on this drive.
That was some hit on the sideline.
Well, question is, where was the hit? I didn't think it was a late hit, but it might have been where the hit occurred that might have been the issue here. So the officials will discuss. Obviously, this has been a pretty entertaining first nearly quarter and a half here in Hillsboro with 7-7 game. But remember, you got to keep control of the game. Now they say disregard the flag.
Oh.
Flag is being waved off.
So it's going to be a 1-yard loss.
Third down for the Raiders.
And now make it 3rd and 11, or actually 3rd and 8 from the 29-yard line. So a 1-yard loss, and I believe it's going to count just as a rush.
Wow, I don't know about that. I mean, that
3rd and 8 for the
it was a big hit. I don't know if it was from here. Our angle, we don't have that capability, but it did look like he was already out of bounds when he made the hit. But
It's a judgment call, and I was worried it was a blow to the head, but they determined it wasn't the case. 3rd and 8. Back goes Seaman. He's under a rush. He's going to throw a high
Another
one.
pass
and it is
Santiago
a flag
again.
down as it goes incomplete. And Zaire Nash is saying to himself, are you kidding me? And now O'Malley King is being a bit demonstrative in his exclamation. Well, we'll wait and see what this one's all about. And actually, we have another flag down on the near sideline. So needless to say, we were moving a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, it has gone play after play after play and flag after flag after flag.
Yeah, there's so much laundry on the field. I don't know. I hope they have enough detergent for this.
Or enough quarters. I don't know.
Yeah, but, once again, Santiago's taking it up the sideline, and, the defender did not want to get beat. So it looked like he grabbed on again. So, once again, those. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd continue to do that too, because once again, if he gets free and gets upfield, it's a touchdown. So, at some point you would think that, you want to bracket this kid, you want to play him, trail technique underneath and have the safety over the top.
So let's see what the officials say. All right, now I think they're deciding. All right, so we have defensive holding, and then after the play, unsportsmanlike against Union. So guess what? First down Hillsboro after all that.
All right, well, we'll take it. Once again, this is how they managed to score the last time. They got a couple of good penalties. They got a few breaks. They got some momentum, and then Hillsboro took advantage of all the mistakes by Union. So we got to see. Hopefully, Union can do. Hillsboro can come back and take advantage of this one more time.
But
1st and 10 Raiders for the 36-yard line.
Actually, is going to be. They're going to enforce both penalties. So one was after the play, and now we have an official timeout. Timeout Union. So Union will call their second timeout. We will take one too. It's 7:41 left in the half. Tied at 7. Back in just a moment.
Drinks.
So, folks, after Hillsboro got hit with a personal foul, which sent them back with like a 2nd and 26, there have been over 40 penalty yards assessed against Union, and the last 25 were together, 10 for defensive hold, 15 for the unsportsmanlike, which came after the play. That is why Hillsboro has 1st and 10 at the Union 46 as we're back into action, hopefully without another flag, but we'll wait and see. Seaman will pitch it over to Jankowicz. He's going to turn the corner, hopefully, and get to about the 43-yard line. Green with the tackle, and also Zion Lake helped out with it too.
Wasn't a bad call offensively. You want to keep the defensive guessing. So you want to, try and do what you can. So they ran a stretch there, which was not bad. Defense held their own. And, he managed to get outside a little bit, but good tackle by the corner, not giving up the edge.
A 3-yard pickup there, so it's 2nd and 7. Now at the 43. They triple the left side, 4 receivers set as Seaman will take the snap. Has time. Throws a short one. Bobbled and intercepted.
Number
it
55.
Deflected into the hands of Enoch Adraman. And he was able to come down with it, and a tough break after all the penalty yardage Hillsboro got from Union. They turned the ball over, and Union gets it back. What a huge break for them. Talk about a sudden turn of events here in this one.
Yeah. So it was a good pass. I mean, the receiver I believe was going to be open on that, but the ball was kind of low. The release was kind of low. So let's see what happened here.
Yeah, let's see what happened with Seaman. I thought the throw was a little bit low. It was just a bad bounce.
Right.
Let's see. It was intended for Jankowicz.
It hit just his receiver, yeah.
Might have been off the pad, or he just couldn't come down with it and just made a terrible bounce into the lineman.
It looked like he had a little too much on it. He threw it behind him also, hit his shoulder, and it bounced off. And the defensive lineman was right there in the right spot, was able to come down with that.
So Union gets a huge break as they now have it 1st and 10 from the 42. And guess what? We're waving flags again.
Another timeout.
Oh, wait. Union's going to call their last timeout. So we're going to keep it here. And actually, you know what? We are staying here. Okay, I'm sorry. We get a little confusion there. But, Joey, obviously things have stalled a little bit with all the penalties. Do you think a lot of it is more emotionally charged because each team wants to go with their first win?
I believe so. Each team is here. They're trying to get their first win. So Union came out with a great play and got a great touchdown there. And then Hillsboro had a couple of breaks with some penalties and was able to capitalize and score. So, it's a 7-7 game. You don't want to make any more mistakes. So, and apparently they waved that last flag off.
It was. By the way, while we have a moment, we, believe it or not, we here at HSG Network, we're getting close to 2,800 subscribers. Those of you who are new to us here, make sure you come to HSG Network here on YouTube and subscribe it. And those of you new to Hillsboro football, please subscribe. We've got every Hillsboro Raider home game for you here on HSG Network. Here's Nigro throwing a deep ball, and it is a little bit of shoving back and forth, and it's incomplete. That ball hung higher than Quincy Carter for a moment.
Well, it was good defense by the defender, number 10 there on the play, and, he had safety help coming over. But, he was right on his hip. They were, both, using their hands to fight. But, good defense there by Hillsboro.
Okay, so after the incompletion is 2nd and 10. For a second, I was waiting, are we going to have a flag on this play too?
Yeah, right. I mean, it took so long that you gotta think,
Well, it's Nigro in there, so basically it's one series for each quarterback.
It seems to be that they're switching them up, so that the defense can't get accustomed to one quarterback in there and get take his rhythm away.
3 wide slot right here on 2nd and 10 as Nigro will hand it off, slipping through one tackle and going down to about the 47-yard line. Zaire Nash gets 5 on the play.
57.
Borowski and Myers help out with the tackle there, but it's a 5-yard pickup, and now Union could do either or here with 7 minutes left in the half.
Yeah, there's still time for them to do it. The game is 7-7, so you just gotta open your playbook now and see what you can come up with here. Because Hillsboro now is defending that deep pass. They're more likely they're gonna stay in this cover 2, is from what I'm seeing. But once again, the key's got to be the defensive line. They got to get pressure, or you got to come off with a backer and create some pressure. I know they blitzed a couple of times and it's helped, and they haven't blitzed since.
3rd and 5 from the 47-yard line. Interesting formation here as Nigro takes a shotgun snap, rolls to his right, tries to sneak through. Does. He will be short of a first down by about 1.5 yards. Took it himself and got maybe 4. They got a spot the 49-yard line, but Borowski stops him from getting the first down. Interesting play call now for Union. And remember, they don't have any timeouts left to discuss it.
They do not have any timeouts to discuss it. But you know what? They have not been too bad. I mean, Hillsboro has been really good against their run. The last couple of plays, they didn't stop it. They managed to get a couple of yards. So maybe Union feels comfortable here and calling a run play and continuing this drive.
Maybe they try the rugby play that we see a lot in the NFL.
It's possible. You could always pooch punt it also.
That's also true.
And who's back there? Who's back there at the quarterback spot? Their punter.
Well, there you go, O'Malley King, the backup quarterback. Let's see what they do on 4th and a yard. Oh, they got a snap. Now there's a flag down. Hold on a second. But the question is did the play even count? We're going to see. If it does, it's going to be Hillsboro ball. And the officials are discussing right now exactly what's going on here. It is a dead ball foul.
On the offense.
So ball start against Union, no play. So it'll be 4th and 6. So back it up to their own 46-yard line. I think that will make the decision a little easier for head coach Jason Scott.
I believe so. I believe this time we're going to get the punt out of it. But, the young man King, he was obviously going to run that ball himself. He's got tremendous size and strength. So you would have assumed that he would have just taken that ball right up the middle there. And, but it was the snap just came right out from underneath the center so quickly. I don't think he was ready for it.
Well, Jankowicz is going to try and return. He's going to go all the way back to about the 20-yard line. Let's see if a Hillsboro can come through. King, meanwhile, will punt, and Jankowicz might have a chance here. No, he says, never mind. And it rolls inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line.
James punt is down at the 7-yard line.
Wow, great punt.
47-yard punt, and now Hillsboro deep in their own territory, have 1st and 10, 5:06 left till the half. So, oh, by the way, you're about to see we two guys here. Hello, folks. Tom Wilkins, Joey Pagan here, and Joey, it's been a kind of like, outside of penalties, it's been a pretty defensive battle, just like the last 2 meetings between these teams.
It has been a defensive battle with Hillsboro making one mistake, and not having a safety over the top, or him misreading the play, and Union being able to connect on a really deep pass. And Hillsboro took advantage of some mistakes that Union made with penalties and scored on that. So, both teams have been doing well.
1st and 10. Here's a handoff and going around inside the 10-yard line, maybe to about the 12. Looks like Schwarz had to carry. A pretty good one there.
Not a bad run on his part. He's been really, really good to this evening running the ball. So, it's not bad that you don't get away from that. You continue with him.
So a dead run with the stop, and it's a 4-yard pickup for Schwarz. Got a wild game going on in Piscataway. We're here in 37-32, Bridgewater Raritan over Piscataway. And now a handoff up the middle, and I don't know how many people were set there, but takes him to about the 16, so about a yard shy of a 1st down. And this time it looked like I think it was Grant who got his first carry. So a 5-yard pickup, and it's 3rd and a yard. Keep in mind last week, Zion Grant, he had a touchdown run, so Jackson Jankowicz late in their what could have been a game-tying drive. We all know what happened after that. 3rd and a yard from the 16, and now an inside handoff. That should be good for a 1st down as it gets to about the 20. So now the inside rushing is working a little bit. And again, Zion Grant able to get 4 more, and Hillsboro moves the chain.
Down. Well, this is what you need, right? You're getting towards the end of the quarter. The other team has no timeouts. They can't stop the clock, so you just keep moving as best as you can. And, you do what you can to keep the defense on the field, keep them tired.
All right, on 1st down. Oh, and they're going to give it to Jankowicz, who tries to speed up. He's going to get 8 to about the 28-yard line. Let me add something else. They have 3 timeouts. They can use the last 3:20 of the half, and Hillsboro gets the ball to start the second half.
That is correct. So what they're trying to do here, they're just trying to keep the defense on the field, not subbing, and keep the ball going so that they can tire this defense out. I'm assuming that at some point they're going to take their shot down the sideline to the end zone.
All right, it was a 9-yard pickup, 2nd and a yard to 29-yard line. 4 straight carries. This is going to be a pass. Going to take a shot down the field, but it's going to be a little bit too high for Jankowicz, incomplete. And Zaire Nash did a good job covering. That was an uncatchable ball.
It was uncatchable, and it was great defense by the defender there. And like I said, I knew they were going to take their shot. Why not third and short? Because you can come back, or second and short, you can come back on third down and still try to get the first down there.
And now you can choose between Grant, Schwarz, and Jankowicz, or possibly call your own number to get the first number.
Yeah, that is correct.
First down. So plenty of options for Hillsboro. And we'll see if they do it. They hand it off, and it will be a first down to about the 34. And once again, it's Zion Grant.
It was a great push by the offensive line right there. They had gotten leverage. They got low. They were able to drive and get the first down now, keep the momentum once again. The defense is subbing in and out, running guys on and off, trying their best. I would believe it'd be better if Hillsboro can rush this, run a little hurry up if possible.
Well, let's see what happens here. 2.5 till halftime. Not doing up tempo yet. First down. Here's a handoff. Jankowicz will try and turn a corner, and they'll get to the.
Oh, he's still on his feet.
Oh my goodness! He did one of those Weeble moves that he didn't go down, and then just suddenly had an explosive burst of speed to get himself down to the 47, and that's a first down for Hillsboro.
That is what we're normally used to seeing from that young man when he runs the ball. They're very explosive. Got great balance. Stays on his feet all the time, keeps his legs moving. Once again, I think the tempo should get picked up here and see what they can do.
He stepped out of bounds, so it stops the clock with 2:21 left till halftime. They again go spread. 1st and 10. Another run this time up the middle. Not much this time to the 49. Jankowicz for 2 more.
Tackle by number 8, Tullis.
Tullis with the stop for Union. As we approach the 2-minute mark of the first half, ball's going to spot right at the midfield stripes, so 2nd and 7. But Hillsboro not in any hurry. Let's see what they do. They switch to a triple on the left side. Back goes Seaman. Going to go inside. Pass caught. Slips out of a tackle. 45. So let's have another one. 40-yard line.
Good run by
Schwarz with a 10-yard pickup. Slithering like a silkworm and diving for 10 more. Moving the chain.
Great move. He's got great moves. This kid. He's been doing great stuff with the ball lately. And that's what you want to do. You want to get the ball in your playmakers' hands so that this way they can make plays with the ball afterwards.
Keep in mind, this drive started at their own 7-yard line.
Yeah,
Union had one start their own 12, and that was for their score. Now Hillsboro's going for a huge drive here. On 1st and 10, back goes Seaman. Let's see if he takes a shot. He's going to take somewhat of a shot. Unfortunately, it was thrown to nobody in particular.
Nobody in particular. You are correct. They almost caught Union. Once again, if they run that up tempo, they would have caught Union with 12 men on the field, but they took their time. Because they subbed in at the last second there. They were able to get it in, but a little up-tempo here. I know everyone's tired, but you got a minute 23. They may try to take another shot down the field again.
Listen, there was a game last year we did where Hillsboro had played a team, and they were up-tempo all the time, and my goodness, everyone was exhausted after that, except for the team running up-tempo.
Yep,
That's where conditioning comes in.
That's correct.
2nd and 10 from the Union 40-yard line. A tie game at 7, minute 23 till halftime. They triple the right side. Oh, a pass goes underneath Seaman. He's got to tuck it at the 48, and it'll be 3rd and 18. This might be a good time for Carter to use a timeout, I would think.
I would assume so. This way you can settle the offense down and come up with something really good that they can do. But he's obviously not going to do that. He's just going to call the play.
48-yard line.
Well, they're not huddling, and I think that's also what's been throwing Union a little bit off guard, changing the tempo a little bit, so it doesn't have to be a huddle all the time. Now, all right, so as the clock runs, 45 seconds and counting, 3rd and 18, Seaman back to pass, throws to Jankowicz in the middle screen. He's only going to get to the 45. So that unfortunate snap ends up stalling the drive, and Hillsboro's going to have to punt. But they're going to let the clock run because Union has no timeout.
That is correct.
There may not be time to punt it.
Oh, they don't have to. They can just let the clock run out till halftime.
Well, they could. They could run it down to 4 seconds and then try the Hail Mary pass to the end zone.
Let's see if they call a timeout and stop the clock.
and they will call, or will they call the timeout?
They will not.
I think, no, we're not going to risk it. We're going to go into the locker room and we're going to regroup. So, Joey, your thoughts on what has been an interesting first half?
Very interesting. A lot of penalties. Good defensive battles. And the ones that came up. The first team that came up big with it was Union. With that big play, and then Hillsborough took advantage of the penalties that that came up. So, and we're able to capitalize on that. But other than that, it's a very solid game.
It's been a very entertaining game, to say the least. A lot of penalties in the second quarter for sure. But anyway, let's take our snack break here with Union and Hillsborough tied at 7. We'll come back in a little bit to get you going for what will be a very interesting second half. So come back in a few with us. All right. Whoa, just went through my ear there. We are back here at David Noonan Field, Hillsborough High School here in Hillsboro, New Jersey. About ready to start the second half in what has been a very interesting game between the Union Farmers and the Hillsborough Raiders. We are level at 7 apiece. About ready to get the second half going in a couple. I'm Tom Wilkins with Joey Pagan, Howard Gaber, of course, behind the controls. If, in case you missed anything, Union scored first in their second drive as their second quarterback, O'Malley King, threw a 68-yard touchdown strike to Elijah Green after a couple of questionable calls occurred beforehand that went Union's way. And then, as we see there's my water bottle yet again. Sorry about that. But anyway, Union scored first on that touchdown. They made the extra point, but then Hillsborough responded. A 16-yard touchdown pass to Andrew Schwarz from quarterback Ryan Seaman throwing his first touchdown pass of the year. The extra point leveled the game at 7, although Seaman threw an interception later. Both defenses have held steadfast, and Joey, as I point to you here, interesting first half. Now what has to happen for the second?
What happens to happen now is that, you want to know which team went into the locker room and what adjustments were made, and, which team is going to come out and be able to execute those adjustments, right? Union had a ton of penalties that Hillsborough could have capitalized at the end of that half, and weren't able to turn the ball over, I believe. And so now, you want to make sure that, you come up with something that, you didn't run that first half that Union might have not seen, and be able to capitalize on that, or take advantage of those penalties and keep moving the ball. Same thing for Union. They had to do a few penalties because the receiver from Hillsborough would have gotten open and it would have blew the game wide open. But Union has to do the same thing. Continue to play sound defense and not make any mistakes, and try to minimize their penalties for the second half. And hopefully both teams can minimize. We can get a lot of football in, and it'll be great.
And you know something? You may have noticed at the end of the first half, Hillsborough changed their tempo and their running game got going. Now, of course, they had a muff snap that set them backward toward the end of the first half. But Hillsborough took care of the last 3.5 minutes of the first half, and they will get the ball to start the second half. So Union, who needed that 20-minute break on defense, is now going to be going back on there. So this is going to be an important series for them as well to begin this half.
Right. I think if Hillsborough came out with an up-tempo offense right now, it'll benefit them, and they can move the ball well upfield and possibly get a quick score here and then settle down defensively. They'll be fine.
Well, I've noticed, too, in Hillsborough's running game, we mentioned Zion Grant, who appeared and had a couple of carries in the second part of the second quarter, and he's also shown how effective he can be. So we'll see what Kevin Carty decides to do, and we'll read the staff on both sides at some point during the second half. All right, Union getting ready to kick off, and the second half underway, and this is going to be returnable. One hop to Jankowicz at about the 5. Let's see what he does. He'll take the 10. He goes through a tackle and gets spilled over at the 25-yard line. He's electric every time he touches the ball, so the fact that he was able to return it made things a little bit on edge for Union for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, exactly. If I sound a little quiet, if I didn't say anything, once he got the ball, I just held my breath to see what he would do with it. Good return on his part right now. Gave them some decent field position. Once again, you want to get started here. You don't want to slow down. You want to come out with something big. Who knows if they take a shot downfield right now.
Well, the student section yelling, "Let's go Burrow," as we begin here the second half. 4 receivers tripling to right. Jankowicz lines to the right of Seaman in the shotgun. And it's going to be Jankowicz, and he gets smothered down at the 25-yard line. That's a loss on the play. Good tackle on the part of Akiko Exuma, the senior, was able to make the stop.
Great play by the defense. They were able to shoot their gaps and make a play on that and not allow him to get anywhere, not even let him get started. But, as soon as he got the ball, he was met by the defense, which was perfect.
Loss of a yard there, so 2nd and 11 from the 25-yard line. Let's see how they line up.
Defensively wise for Union, that's how you want to play Jankowicz. You don't want to give him a chance to get started. You don't want him to get going downhill because then you have trouble.
And once again, Seaman in the shotgun. They switch Jankowicz over to the left, and now Seaman back to pass. Going to fire this one. That one is fun. Turn the corner, look out to the 40, moving to about the 47-yard line, and getting spilled out is Byrnes Santiago with a first down to 48 and a 23-yard pickup.
once again, this is what they started with the first half, and he was big in that first half in those first couple of series, and now he managed to break free and get more yardage after the catch. So like I said, they put him in the slot a couple of times. I thought it wasn't working for them. They need to keep him outside and work with him out there.
That was an in and spin route, and it worked out very well. 22-yard pickup, 1st and 10 for the 47. Seaman will give the Jankowicz up the middle, past the midfield stripe, and gets as far as about the 48. They might give him the 47. That'd be a gain of 6 if that's the case. But they are in plus territory, and it forces a 2nd and 4.
Yep. Let's see where they spot this ball at. Oh, he gave him a good spot.
Yeah, the 47, so forward progress was the motive there, and it'll be 2nd and 4. And
2nd and 4 for the Raiders.
And you think about this, Union's defense, they've been out a lot. Could Hillsborough start wearing them down here in the second half with this ball control?
I believe so, which is what I was saying. Keep that up tempo and then keep them on the field, not allow them to get off the field and keep them tired.
And trying not to get him to sub either without huddling. 2nd and 4. Here's Seaman back. He'll screen to Jankowicz. There he goes for a first down to the 40-yard line. Down to the 35 and a gain of 12. And Hillsborough moves the chains again.
Yeah, the great pass where you catch Jankowicz out of the backfield. There was nobody out there covering him. And, good pass, good catch, good move. And that's how you keep the sticks moving for them right now.
Axonot was the one who made the stop there. But it is 1st and 10. They're going to spot the 36. So a gain of 11. And right now, Hillsborough starting to feel it here on offense. 2 minutes into this second half. Once again, Seaman in the shotgun. Short pass at Schwarz. Schwarz has a little room to the 30, down to the 26. Close to the first down.
Yep, close to the first down. Good job by Schwarz there on the catch and then, making some moves to get some more yards upfield.
O'Malley King with the stop, so he's playing quarterback, punter, and defense. I don't think Danny White played defense.
I don't think so, but what Hillsborough is doing here, once again, they're up-tempo a little more, but they're doing short passes. They're not letting the defense get set, so this is good for them. This is what they did a little bit in that first drive, and then they stalled. Let's see what happens here.
Seaman gives to Jankowicz. He'll push through. He should have a first down as he crosses the 25 down to the 23. A 4-yard pickup. Hillsborough moves the chains again. And Azuma with the tackle again for a Union defense. That may be worrying a little bit.
I do believe that they're wearing down a little bit there. And Hillsborough play calling right now is good. They're mixing it up really good. Run pass, not nothing deep, outs and ins really quick and some little bubbles right there, which is good.
Tripling to right here on 1st and 10 to 23. Jankowicz this time bouncing off a tackle inside the 20, down to the 18, into the red zone goes Hillsborough. And they got a shot here, and I would have to think, hey, they got Schwarz on that touchdown. Shall we try it again?
I would think so. Let's see what they get here, where he lines up at. The Hillsborough is running the ball well right now, and a little ground and pound going there for them.
You could think about that. I mean, considering since the last part of the second quarter, they've changed the tempo a bit, and that's exactly what they've been doing.
Right.
2nd and 5 from the 18-yard line. Seaman again, a little bit. They got Schwarz in there, running back. Now he lines up to his left. Play fake, a fire, and a little bit too fast, incomplete. That was a quick release to Jankowicz, and I don't think he was even ready for it.
I don't think so either. I think they're going to that a little too much. I say if you do a double move here and get to the end zone, it's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? The Union is in the cover 2, so we have a player down there.
Yeah, a Union player might be a cramp issue here, and even though temperatures are not warm very much. It's supposed to be low mid 60s tonight. You have to think too that it's players being in shape and not having enough water in their bodies.
That is correct. Because so you want to hydrate all week long. You don't want to do anything the day before. So
peekaboo, we're back in the booth again. So while we had this injury timeout, the question for you, Joey, is you got 3rd and 6 coming up for Hillsborough. What do you think? If you're Kevin Carty, what do you call?
3rd and 6. Let me see. I would go back to I'd probably play action here. You understand? Because they were running successfully with the ball. You know, they did a couple of short passes there, but the defense has now moved up on it. So if not, you may want to get a double move here going up to the end zone.
That was actually O'Malley King, the one who was down. So he's going to step out for a play here. It is 3rd and 6 from the 18-yard line. This is a big play in this game. And Jankowicz will be lined up to the right of Seaman. 4 receivers, 3 to the left. Going to take a shot up the middle. Pass caught around a 10 to the 5. And he's down inside the 2-yard line. And it's Andrew Schwarz again. And they're going to say to 3, it is going to be 1st and goal. And now we have another injury timeout. So why don't we give you a progress update on some scores we have. Oh, boy. This looks like a low basketball score. Bridgewater Raritan 45-40 over Piscataway. By the way, it is Jankowicz who is the one who are we talking the
from Union, the player from Union is down.
Oh, that number 3. I'm sorry. Let's redo the scores. Bridgewater Raritan 45-40 over Piscataway. We do have a final. Woodbridge 13-10 over Watchung Hills. Monroe and Hunterdon Central level at 14. Somerville continues their roll 19-0 over Cranford. They are for real, folks. And Phillipsburg now 16-3 over Westfields. They had a safety.
Yeah.
Now, let's just remind everybody, those of you new to Hillsborough High School, remember we got all the home games here on HSG Network. So go to HSG Network on YouTube, subscribe. You'll get the notification of the home games here for Hillsborough. And we understand our next one is going to be in 2 weeks' time on September 20th. So if you can't make it out to Hillsborough High School, you can watch anywhere on YouTube on HSG Network. So make sure you subscribe. Getting close to 2,800 subscribers, so tell your friends, and let's get a wave going here. All right, following the injury timeout, that was Zion Lake who was the guilty one, and he slowly getting off the field. And they're going to go tight, 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. And now, oh, wait, we got a timeout called by Hillsborough. Unfortunately, their timeouts in the first half don't carry over. But it's the first time out of the second half, so let's take a break here at 7:48 left in the third. Tied at 7, but for how much longer? Find out in just a moment. Okay, following the Hillsborough timeout, 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Under center, Seaman gives a Jankowicz. Round that corner. Clear the area. He is home. Welcome to the end zone. Jackson Jankowicz from 3 yards out as the LED light display goes off here at David Noonan High School.
Once again, awesome. I mean, you got the young man started early. In the beginning of the drive, you kept feeding him the ball. You got him. He's got momentum. He's got a rhythm. And what do? You feed him here down at the bottom of the end zone, and you get him the touchdown. He pretty much got you up here. So that was great.
He was very instrumental on that drive, and that's probably why they gave it to him. Jackson's 2nd touchdown of the year. So we'll try the extra point. Damian Amato is the one holding for the kicker, which is Andrew Advani. And he'll try the extra point. We'll wait to snap here. Here it is, the snap, the kick on its way. And with 7:44 left in the third, let's take a break here. The Hillsborough Raiders leading Union by a score of 14-7. The ensuing kickoff after this.
Going to bed.
Okay, Hillsboro just took a 14-7 lead over Union here with 7:44 left in the third quarter, thanks to a 3-yard touchdown run by Jackson Jankowicz, his second rushing touchdown of the year. Of course, he had one late against Somerville last week, so that's number 2 for him. We'll go, and as Hillsboro kicks off, and to the sideline, he's going to let it go out of bounds. So that will go to 35. And Joey Pagan just gave me this. Joey's daughter is in Texas and watching the game on HSG Network tonight. I don't know where in Texas, where Corpus Christi, Amarillo. Oh, San Antonio.
She's in San Antonio watching the game right now. She just messaged me and sent me a picture saying, "Hey, Dad, I'm watching you on the game."
Oh, fantastic.
And is enjoying it.
And crazy shouts to my friend Priscilla, who's out in San Antonio, too. So, hey, 2-for-1 special.
All right, here we go, baby.
I was about to say hi, Mom.
Hey, Marissa. Great job.
All right, so Union will have the ball first and 10 to 35-yard line. And, you know, I'm interested to see here the quarterback situation. They are bringing in Matthew Nigro because O'Malley King, he had a cramp in the previous drive on defense, so he may not be ready to come in on offense here. So it's going to be Nigro for right now. A high step over his head. He will pick it up at about the 15-yard line and tag down there. Whoa, 20 yards backwards.
There it is, right? You know, one team came out and made more adjustments than the other right now. That's what it seems like. You know, Hillsboro came out and settled down and did the right thing. And now on defense, they're doing a little better. I mean, it's unfortunate it was a high snap, but, you know, you're going to take it, you know, for what it is, right? You know, the momentum is building in your favor right now. You want to continue going with that as the game goes on.
Well, keep in mind, last week there was a defensive score for Hillsboro as Anthony Guerrero returned a fumble 42 yards for a touchdown to put Hillsboro back in the game against Somerville. So a possible scoop and score could happen again. We'll see on second and about 30. Back goes Nigro, and the pass is a bit high, incomplete. And that was intended for Elijah Green. He wanted interference. The ref saying, "We're having none of that."
He had good time in the pocket there. You just, you know, the ball sailed on him a little bit. It was a little too high for the receiver, couldn't come down with it. But there was good defense. You know, the defender was right there on him. So,
well, let's see what Nigro does here on third and quite a long way. They're going to spot it at the 17. So you're talking 3rd and 28. They're in a huddle and wonder what they have in the playbook. Head coach Jason Scott. We'll see as far as how much time. Keep in mind, there's 6:45 left in the third quarter. But they're taking a lot of time, and they don't want to go any further back and risk delay a game. We'll see. Fans getting into it here in Hillsboro. Back goes Nigro looking. Going to take a deep shot down the field. It is jumbled, and it is knocked away. Or is it wait, could it be intercepted? Or they're saying incomplete.
Nigro's pass is intended for number 1, Elijah Green.
It was knocked away at the very least. So it is an incompletion. For a second, Hillsboro thought it was an interception, but the back official said no. But for Union's sake, they will be punting.
Exactly. It looked like he came down with the ball, but, you know, it was great defense. Great defense. There was 3 defenders there, you know. I mean, you also had 2 receivers, but, you know, that you had 3 defenders there. Now Hillsboro's playing like a cover 2, cover 3. You know, they're disguising it well, so.
After this play, we'll take a look at that last one, but it looks like Ryan Seaman's going to take a shot returning it. No, it isn't. It's actually taking 45-40. Look at this.
Santiago on the carry.
30, it is Santiago. I thought there was a 4 back there for some reason, but he's a quarterback. The Mr. Do Everything, but this time it's Santiago. What a very nice return. We'll see where they spot the football. That might be inside the 30-yard line. But why don't we take a look at that third down play again and see what that was, if that was an interception or not. Take a look at the very end.
All right, so like I said, you got a single high safety here, but I believe they rotate into a cover 3, maybe 4 there. He threw it right to the middle of the coverage. Wow. Wow, no, they were hit.
It did hit the ground. It did
It
hit
was
the
a
ground.
great defensive play by number 8, though, by knocking the ball out, which was super good by him. So
Always good for confirmation's sake. And that's why we do the replays here.
exactly why we do replays here.
All right. So a 21-yard return by Berto Santiago. And it is 1st and 10 for Hillsboro at the Union 29. They're going to try and knock on that door again. Seaman in shotgun. Jankowicz to his right. Play fake. Caught by Schwarz. Speeds through. 25. And pushed out. Dragging out near the 20. And they will give him 8. And it ends up being 2nd and 2.
Yeah, between Schwarz and Santiago here, they're having a great game, on their own right now with Jankowicz, with the carry, and running the ball. If you had to pick one guy offensively, it'd be tough to pick between these 3 guys.
Well, it's 2nd and a short 4. Ball spot at the 22-yard line. They line up again with the triple on the near side. Jankowicz to the left of Seaman. Back to pass. Throws in the middle. Oh, that almost was a nicely designed play. Sanjay Mills, the intended receiver, the junior, he just couldn't come up with it. But that was a nice attempt there.
It's a great attempt. It was a good route. I think it was just thrown a little short on that. He sidearmed it a little bit. He didn't get a good release. But, I mean, a good play. That should have been good for at least a good catch there to get him into the red zone.
And get a couple of the other youngsters involved, because you can't always rely on the key players. You have to have other people willing to step up.
Exactly. That's what you want to do. Everyone else is focusing on Santiago and Schwarz and Jankowicz, so you don't want him, you try to get somebody else involved there.
Here's Zion Grant getting involved, and he'll get to about the 20, but he's going to be a couple yards shy of a first down as we come to 5.5 left in the third. Hillsboro by 7, but let's see what Kevin Carty decides to do here on this 4th down. And I'll tell you one thing, Enoch Adeniran has had a very nice game, especially in the middle of the line, but they're going to go for it here on 4th and about 2.5. Grant again to single back. He'll get it. He pushes.
Oh, wow.
Did he get it? I think he did. Look at that. All the way down to the 16-yard line.
Great push by the offensive line. Great run by him. He lowered his shoulders. He squared up, and he just pushed and pushed and pushed. He kept his legs moving until he got past that first down yardage.
And
first down.
And the junior, I would say that's more of a fullback move in a way.
That is it.
You got the speed, and then you got the power of Zion Grant. From the 16, and now Grant again kind of went to the well once too often there. Only a yard to the 15.
But nevertheless, it was a good play right now. You got a yard off of it, but, you're just trying to, keep the tempo going. So you want to be able to keep that tempo and keep this Union defense off guard there.
2nd and 9 from the 16-yard line. They're going to counter around the way. It's Jankowicz crossing the 10 to 5.
Yes!
Goodbye! Welcome to the end zone! Clear the area again as Jackson Jankowicz strikes from 17 yards out to extend the lead for Hillsboro, and that is what senior leadership does.
That is exactly what senior leaders do, right? First half, he was kind of quiet. He didn't really do as much as he normally does. Second half, that they must have decided, we got to get him involved in the game, and they started feeding him the ball. And sure enough, as he went, now this is the 2nd touchdown of this quarter.
That is correct.
So slowly but surely becoming that guy who I was talking about just now, saying, who would we pick as an MVP at the moment? So, at this moment, it's looking like him.
We have a timeout on the field following. We're going to show you the replay of Jankowicz's touchdown. There had to have been a very shifty, nifty move along the near sideline, which allowed it to happen. What exactly happened? Counterplay, sweep right?
Exactly, counter. And then here he is. He just reads his block. Number 2, Schwarz gave him a really good block to the outside, which sealed it for him. He cut back inside off of that, and he broke 3 tackles there going into the end zone. So he was following his offensive lineman, number 76, great blocks, and into the end zone.
So a 17-yard touchdown run, and now the extra point coming up as so far, Advani is 2 for 2. Amato to hold
Okay.
on the extra point.
All right.
The snap, kick on its way. You can make that 21-7. Advani is 3 for 3. So with 4:18 left in the third, we'll take a break. Raiders lead 21-7. We'll come back in just a moment. Okay, back here at Hillsborough High School. Raiders up a 21-7 over the Union Farmers, and Union about to get the ball back as they kick it off, and let's see if it's returnable this time. It's a directional kick and falling down at about the 31-yard line. I believe that was Brian Axonot, the senior. So that is where Union will start. Here's a score Howard's going to love. Franklin, 2-0 as they defeat Passaic by a score of 33-29 in a high-scoring affair. So needless to say, Howard is rather happy about that. I mean, I know the team's fallen on some hard times lately, but a 2-0 start for the Franklin Warriors. Great job by them.
Great job. Howard must be really excited knowing that his school is doing so well right now. 2-0. And let's not take away from this game here. Hillsboro has just opened this game up right now with offense, and let's see what they get back here on defense now.
Well, let's see who's quarterbacking here for Union right now, considering what has happened here in the third quarter. It looks like it's going to be Nigro again. 1st and 10 for the 31. They're going to go with, they're
going to floor.
And who's going to fall on it? I think it's going to be Union. They're going to lose some yardage. And right now, the Farmers are a little bit of a mess.
Yeah, I think they're done. I believe. I hate to say that. Listen. They just fumbled. They just fumbled the ball. It didn't even look like either one of them wanted to jump on it. But
well, don't forget you can do a flea flicker, and all of a sudden Green has a second touchdown from 70 yards. So you never know in this game.
That is correct.
Anyway, second after a 4-yard loss, it goes all the way back to the 28. So it's 2nd and 14 as the clock runs down to 3.5 minutes left here in the third quarter.
Ball's on the 28-yard line right now, so.
Nigro in the shotgun again. And this is going to be a handoff. Sweeping around the right. There's some room crossing the 30 down to the 34. And I think that was Zion Lake again.
Number 6.
Oh, I beg your pardon. No, that was a Zaire Nash.
Yes. I mean, Union is still trying to do what they do, trying to keep their game plan going. It is early, late in the third quarter. It's not necessarily over yet, but you at some point you got to start thinking, you start taking the shot downfield, so ball now is third and maybe 7. And they're rushing at the moment, using up clock. It's not something that they want to do right now.
But also the fact that O'Malley King is not in this drive is also a detriment here, considering his cramp he had earlier in this quarter. Nigro now on 3rd and long. Back, he's going to throw. Pass is caught down to about the 39, and that's going to be it. Going to be a couple yards shy of a first down. It was a nice catch to Jaden Forbes, the junior. But he's 2 yards shy of a first down. Kevin Jones with the stop.
Right.
And a very interesting decision. 4th and a yard from the 40.
Well, let's see, because if that's like you said.
Actually, they backed it up to the 38. They did not give him a good spot there.
Wow. Okay, so it's 4th and a lot now. Let's see what they do right now, what they come up with here. As far as they can, what play they can come up with for 4th down.
Well, they're
get a first down.
They're taking a lot of time in the huddle. They're going to try and go for it in their own territory. 4th and 3 from the 38. Big play here. They hand it off, And they slip through for a first down and more across the midfield. Spin move down to the 43-yard line. That Brian Axonot, wow. He slipped out of a couple tackles and kept going.
Yeah.
Myers with the stop, but it's a key first down for Union.
That was big for them right there. Union needed that really bad, and they were able to get off tackle, and he broke a few tackles there and managed to get upfield for another 10, 15 yards after that. And now it's first down Union, and they're moving. If they can get something in this quarter, within this next minute, which is big, then you can, you got time to play with in the fourth quarter and hopefully, come back and score again.
He needed 3, and he got 19 on that one. So first and 10, Union to Hillsboro, 43-yard line, under a minute left here in the third. They hand it off, Axonot again, and he'll get across the 40, maybe the 39. They'll give him 4. Parse with the stop there. And it's a 4-yard pickup, and we'll see if Union decides to run one more play before the quarter's up.
I would assume so. You would think so, right? You don't want to give up any time. You want to be able to utilize all the time that you possibly can. So, but, it's possible that they don't get the playoff.
Well, we'll see what they decide to do. I would think they can. Yeah, they break the huddle with 17 seconds. And once again, Nigro have a single setback. 2nd and 6 in the 39-yard line. They do get the playoff. It's a handoff. Axonot again. He'll get to about the 35, and that's about it. He'll be shy of a first down as we have hit three-quarter time here in Hillsboro. So after 3, Hillsboro with the lead over Union by a count of 21-7. Shall we grab a break here? We'll do so, and we'll have the final quarter of this one right after this.
Franklin defeating Passaic 33-29. The start of tonight's fourth quarter brought to you by our sponsors for the 2024 season, Market Associates, Mariner Sports Fishing.
Okay, we are back here for the final quarter of this one here from Hillsboro High School. I'm Tom Wilkins with Joey Pagan, Howard Gaber with the controls. Union, and a very, shall we say, a happy Howard Gaber after his Franklin Warriors are now 2-0. Hasn't happened in a while, so something to celebrate regardless of the opponents.
Something's brewing out there in Franklin, isn't there?
So we've used their commercials up, so we will be commercial free the rest of the way for the final 12 minutes. Keep in mind, Union has 3 timeouts to Hillsboro's 2.
3rd and 2
so
from the 35.
Let's see what Union does here. 3rd and 2 from the 35-yard line. Once again, in his quarterback, Matthew Nigro, the junior. He's in for O'Malley kick. Wait a second. Flags are down. Get your umbrellas. And it's going. It sounds like a false start, but no official sign yet. It is a false start. So back 5 goes Union, and that's a big penalty. And in the fourth quarter, these penalties get magnified.
Yes, you don't want to start going in the opposite direction here. You were so close. You needed was 2 yards to get a first down. You have momentum going on your side. And then you go off sides and you kill yourself. You shoot yourself in the foot here. I thought there was a good opportunity with 3rd and short for them to even try to go to the end zone, or at least somewhere downfield, because you can come back and get, go on 4th down and try to get it, on short yardage. But now you basically got to go downfield.
Well, probably 4 down territory anyway. 3rd and 7 for the 40-yard line. Nigro is going to run an Axonot, slips through a tackle, bangs through another, and gets those 5 yards back to the 35-yard line. He hadn't run yet until this drive, and that change of pace has really thrown Hillsboro some curveballs. They're going to give him the 36, so it's going to be 4th and probably 3.
4th and 3 for Union from the 36-yard line.
So how do you plug the middle?
right now, you gotta, I mean, they've been running the ball, but once again, here's where it becomes dangerous, right? Because you're anticipating run. They've been running the ball well. You get a quick play action here, and we're off to the races. So you never know. You got to stay home on defense.
Well, let's see if Hillsboro can make a big stop here. 4th and 3 from the 36. Niagara under center. Will they go to Axonot one more time? They will. Bouncing around. Is he going to get around? He will not! He stopped at the 35-yard line. It's not going to matter because Hillsboro is going to get the ball on downs. He's 2 yards short. But let's see where tomorrow. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, now they're saying he's short of a first down. I didn't think he got it, but it was probably a little closer than we thought.
Yeah, it might have been. I mean, we can't get that sideline from here, but, I thought it was close, but.
Yeah, about half a yard short, it looks like.
Yeah, it's not even, you can't even ask for a measurement. That's too far for that.
I was surprised he didn't go up the middle again.
I thought he was definitely going to go up the middle again, but yeah, he went off tackle and he managed to get a couple of yards, but not enough.
He needed 3. He ended up getting 2 1/3. So Hillsboro will start at the 34-yard line, 1st and 10, with a 14-point lead, and now looking to try and take as much time as they can off this clock. There's still 10:47 left.
Mm-hmm. Union was, really taking their time with the ball rather than having a little more urgency. But
here's looks like no, it's gonna be Schwarz with that one, but he ends up losing a yard to the 35-yard line. Actually, they gave him like half a yard there. I think Schwarz was not exactly sure which way he wanted to go there.
Yeah, I think he saw an opening, but he caught it at the last second when he tried to cut it back. He was able to get just a yard out of it, and that was it.
So it'll be 2nd and 9. They're going to spot the 35-yard line, and Seaman making sure that everyone's in the right position. His last name is spelled Seamon, just to let everybody know.
Yeah.
All right, back goes Ryan. He's going to throw a deep one right side. And that pass almost caught it. Ends up slipping away at the last. Santiago nearly came down with a beautiful catch, but just couldn't cramp it. It's incomplete and it's 3rd and 9.
Couldn't bring it down. Santiago's been having a great game today. He's been all over the field. I thought he had that one there, but he couldn't bring it in.
So 3rd and 9 from the 35-yard line, and this is probably going to be another passing play. And for Union, this is a huge play for them on defense.
Yes, they need a stop here. They need a quick stop. I mean, unfortunately, the clock stopped on that incomplete pass, which is good for Union, but not for Hillsboro.
4 receivers, a triple to right. A high snap, flag down, firing at the middle, and it knocked away incomplete. And I'm wondering if it could possibly be a penalty against Hillsboro, and that will certainly be refused by a Union. And it's going to be, it looks like an illegal motion foul. The running back was leaning forward to snap.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, 3rd and 9, and the pass was incomplete anyway. It is an illegal motion foul against Hillsboro, and it is refused. So it'll be 4th down, and Hillsboro will punt. So Union did the job what they needed to.
Yeah, they did. They did. Now, they're gonna get this ball back with about 9 minutes and 40-something seconds. What are they gonna do? They can't take their time. They got to go a little more up tempo. They got to try to get into the end zone quickly, and then come back out and play strong defense again and get a stop. Hopefully, get a 3 and out. And be able to, try to get back into the end zone if they can.
All right, well, we'll see what happens as the punt will be coming. Duggar is standing at about his 30-yard line. Good snap and no pressure at all on the punter. Duggar will try and catch it, and he drops it. There's a loose ball. Who's got it? Oh, or did he fall?
Yeah, he fell back on top of it.
Looks like he did at the 47-yard line. So Union's been getting some interesting bounces in this game, and that's another one. Not exactly the way you wanted, but it still worked.
If he holds on to that ball, I think he squeezes through, and then maybe one or two guys left on that field who can catch him. He had a full head of steam on that. He would have been off to the races. That's the kind of touchdown you want. Very little time off the clock. You get back and you go on. So once again, they got the ball now. He was fortunate enough to fall on it. But, just like I said, 9:46, they need to pick up the tempo. They need to get into the end zone quickly to get back and get a 3-and-out.
All right, so 1st and 10. Let's see if Hillsboro's defense can clamp down once again. Ball spotted at the 47-yard line. And once again, it is Matthew Nigro. Under center this time, rolls back to his right. Looking, firing, and it is caught down to 46-yard line. Elijah Green, I don't know why he was signaling first down. He was 3 yards short.
3 yards, nowhere near it.
Got to see where your feet are, unlike last night.
Yes, exactly.
But it's still it's a 6-yard gain. So it's 2nd and 4. Now at the Hillsboro 47-yard line.
But the true thing is that he stayed in bounds. Right? Right.
I'm surprised that a Union's taking this long. They can't get themselves moving. I know they have all 3 timeouts, but time is of the essence here. They need 2 scores.
Right. On that completion, he could have easily gotten out of bounds to stop the clock for them, and he did not. He stayed in bounds, so now, time is running.
Not necessarily the best decision. Here's a handoff up the middle. Oh, wow. I'll make up for it. To the 20, to the 10, and
there it is.
The apartment. Welcome to the end zone.
Number 6.
Zaire Nash with a 47-yard touchdown run, and Union's back in this one, folks.
Union's back in this one. Like I said, you want to get a quick strike. You want to be able to score quickly. I didn't think it would be on the running play, but this young man came out in this 4th quarter. He started running the ball well, and as you see right here, he managed to finish it off.
And a fresh body here because he hadn't gotten a carry in a while. It was basically Axonot who was trying to wear Hillsboro's defense down. Evidently, he did his job because that was a 47-yard touchdown there. And now for the extra point to make this a 1-score game. The snap, kick on its way, and folks, it's 21-14. So while we take a look at what happened along the near side that allowed Nash to race to pay dirt for 47 yards.
Yeah, I mean, looked like he just went right off tackle here.
Business Center.
Yeah, well, right through the middle. I mean, you got a great block by the guard center there, which opened the big hole, and the linebackers were out of position. He managed to get in there.
And outraced Carsey for the 47-yard touchdown run, and Union is back in this thing. By the way, quick look at Union and their staff. They're led by head coach Jason Scott, assisted by Carmen Morano, Mark Crisafi, Clint Coffey, Walden Dufresne, and Nick Curcio, as well as Agbai Iroha, Brendan McGrath, Andrew Sanborn, Arthur Pinkney, Dan Laguerre, and Ashawn Harris. The athletic directors at Union High School are Johnny Rodriguez and Sidney Bernadelle. They're the athletic trainers, rather. I'm sorry. The athletic director at Union is Ron Zeiser, I believe it is. I'll get it pronounced right. Anyway, here's the kickoff by Union. Let's see if it's returnable. At the 10, here's Jankowicz. Let's see what he can do. Oh, he sleeps out. Let's see what. He slips out another one. Going to the 20, 30, to the 40. Still down to 42-yard line. And the electricity of Jackson Jankowicz gets Hillsboro some nice field position to start their next drive.
Jankowicz with a great return there. Gets Hillsboro some great field position now. Now we got to see what Union comes up with. What adjustments they're going to make here to be able to stop this Hillsboro offense. Get a 3-and-out quickly or some sort of turnover quickly to get their offense back on the field. If they can do something like that, they will be able to, they will have enough time to get back into this game. You understand? So if they can really do that, then, they'll still, and they still got all 3 of their timeouts.
That's true. 1st and 10. This will be a handoff to Schwarz, who has a little hole, and he will go about midfield stripe and further into plus territory. Oh, it's Zion Grant, rather. That's an 8-yard pickup to the 49-yard line.
It was a good run by Grant.
Green with the tackle.
Yes, sir. It was a good run by Grant. He just kept his feet moving. and he didn't stop. He refused to go down. I just think they gave him a horrible spot there. I thought he was a lot closer than that to the first down marker, but he kept his legs moving. Good run.
And Green is in there as a feature back. They're going to line up Jankowicz as a receiver on the left side. Let's see if Grant gets it again. Yep, he will. He powers. And he should have a first down as he fights his way to the 46-yard line and another 3 yards.
Good run. Good play calling by Hillsborough now. Just kind of control the ball, keep the ball out of the hands of Union, and get some first downs here, eat up as much of this clock as possible, and keep that momentum going on their side.
Carasino with the stop, but Hillsborough with a first down at the Union 46-yard line. We're coming down to 7:50 left in regulation.
Right, and Hillsborough's coming up. They're trying to run a little more tempo, which is good. You don't want to do too much, but you also want to maintain the ball.
Also, Seaman looking to make sure that there's how much time is left here on the play clock as Jankowicz sweeps right and crosses over to about the 43, maybe the 42. They're going to give him the 43, and that's a 3-yard pickup, and we have an injured player down.
And it's Jankowicz down.
Ooh. Hopefully it's not serious. Maybe just had the wind knocked out of him. While we have a second, we'll give you Hillsborough staff led, of course, by Kevin Carty Jr., his father, Kevin Carty Sr., an assistant coach, along with Don Adams, Wayne Briggs, Vince Coviello, Patrick Denapoli, PJ Jankowicz, Rocco Mazzagatti, Brandon Nuatter, and Tim O'Sullivan. The superintendent of schools is Mike Volpe. Principal is Jeff DeLullo. The athletic director is Michael Davis, and the team doctor is James Monica. The athletic trainers, by the way, are Michael Schiffman and Amanda Miller. Jankowicz is up pretty quickly. He was just a little bit shaken up. Looked like for a second he was going to hold his shoulder. He might have just a stinger a little bit. But he'll come off and rest for a couple plays, and we'll see if get another explosive play out of him before this day is over. So following that, it is 2nd and 7. And remember, sometimes it's awkward tackling that can sometimes lead to situations like this.
Yeah, the Union defense now is trying to create something here. So they are flying. They're a little more aggressive. They're trying to make something happen. So,
2nd and 7.
Somebody's trying to hit the ball. They might have, just hit him. 2 or 3 guys he might have landed wrong too. So.
All right, Seaman making sure that everyone's lined up properly. They do have 2 receivers and a last-second substitution. I mean last second. They were short a guy. Ryan Baker comes running on. And they hand it off. There's Schwarz crossing over to 40. And he
stays on his feet.
Oh, and he stays in bounds. And they're going to give him the 36. If that's so, that's a first down.
Well, we have to see.
Well, we'll see where they spot the forward progress. He's a yard short. So they're going to say the 37, but that's a 6-yard pickup. Now you bring Zion Grant back in. What'd you think?
I think, yeah, you do that and you run power and you get that first down. But, Schwarz is still back there.
Yeah, I think he's going to get the carry. And he does. A first down. And still going to the 30, to the 20.
Let's go.
There's a flag down as he'll get to the 10 and close to the end zone. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's a flag down to 31. And, yeah, looks like one of the umpires saying it's coming back. It's either a hold or a block in the back. Either way, that long game's going to be nullified. It is a hold.
Holding on the offense.
Wow.
So there's going to be 10 yards in the spot of the hold. So instead of a 1st and goal opportunity at about the 2, it's going to be 3rd and... Let's see. They're going with the... This is interesting. They're taking the hold at 31. So that would mean if they move a 10, that'd be to 41. And in that case, it would be 3rd and 5. And it'd just be a net of -4.
Right.
And one of the officials says, okay, let's put it right here at just outside the 41. So it's going to be 3rd and 5. So only a 4-yard penalty technically.
That's not too bad, but, once
Better
again,
than a false start.
better than a false start. Then again, you got to realize, too, right, on that play, you had clock come off, time run off the clock. So, once again, that's Union's problem right now. They need to get this offense off the field and get their offense back on.
And they were coming to the midway point of that final quarter. 3rd and 5 with the I formation. They will give it to Schwarz, and Schwarz pushing. He is close to the line of gain. It looks like he's going to be a yard short.
Let's see what they do, because here you want a left foot spot. You don't want that right foot. Let's see what they give him.
Well, based upon the outside official, they're saying the 37, so he's a yard short.
All right. I mean, still 4-down territory, I'm assuming here, and we're gonna run the ball again.
No, I'd say, get Zion in that game. He's in for this play, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be Schwarz or it's going to be Zion Grant. Or we're going to have a timeout to make sure that we get the play run right. All right, clock running down to 5:10. And will Cardi call timeout? They're going to stay in the I format. Here's Grant.
Oh, I don't think he made it.
Stopped. They stopped him short. They went low on him. He went down right away. And Union has stopped Hillsboro on downs, and they are alive and well with exactly 5 minutes left.
Hey, defensive line got some great penetration there. The linebackers came flying up. They got contact early. Here we go. Let's look at this replay here. Yeah. Once again, there's at the line of scrimmage, Union won the line of scrimmage there. That's what happened with the linebackers flying up here. Yep. Oh, wow. He just went down. Number 8 grabbed his ankles from behind and didn't give him a chance to get his feet moving. And we are going to have a measurement here.
Well, the line of gain's at 36. Looks like the ball is close to the 37. They're just double-checking his spot. I still don't think he got it. But I could be wrong. Stranger things have happened.
Hillsboro players are in the way. We can't tell where the ball is spotted right here.
Yeah, it's definitely Union ball.
Yep.
They just want to see how short they were. And so Union will get it on downs. And not only that, a free timeout.
True.
For Union, even though they have all 3.
Which is something that's important, right? You as a coach, you get a chance to figure out what play you want to run here, what's been working for you, and you give your offense a little more breather to. I mean, it works the same way. Hillsboro gets a little bit of a rest also. So.
Well, we thought that Hillsboro was going to wear down this Union defense in the second half, but evidently they got a new lease on life, thanks to Zaire Nash and his touchdown run earlier in this quarter. So from the 37, 1st and 10, handoff. And not much of anything there as Hillsboro's defense slams the door. And speaking of Nash, he got mashed back in the line of scrimmage for a yard, and there is a player down.
Injury timeout on the field.
So it's a 1-yard loss, and when we resume play, it'll be 2nd and 11. While they attend to the injured Hillsboro player, what are both teams thinking as we're down under 5 minutes? How do you want to approach both sides of the ball?
Defensively wise, you want to make sure that you don't have any miscommunications here, right? You want to be able to defend the yard markers and not give up a first down, but offensively, you want to have something called that's going to get you at least 5 to 7 yards on this play here to get you closer to the first down. And, you want to be able to, get that play right now while you got this injury timeout, utilize it and maintaining all your timeouts still, which is big for Union at the moment.
Garrett Roebuck was the shaken up Hillsboro player, and he looks okay because he was jogging right off. He probably just had the wind knocked out of him. So also might have been a cramping possibility. So after the 1-yard loss, it is 2nd and 11 from the 36-yard line. And now let's see what Hillsboro decides to line up here. Nigro drops the ball,
oh,
and
boy.
he tries to pick it up. And it ends up picking up at the 30-yard line. That's the second time this has happened as half. The exchange, the snap has just not worked. And they go further backwards, another 6 yards. And now it's 3rd and 17. They're going to give them the 31, so 3rd and 16.
Yeah, you don't. This is not exact. This is not what you want right here. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot this way. You know, you want to stay focused. You want to be poised here. You know, coach has got the play for you. You want to be able to execute here.
And I think what they're going to try and do is get most of that back on 3rd down. If they don't, they're going to have to try a stretch play or something. But once again, Matthew Nigro in there. 4 receivers, a triple to left on 3rd and 16. He's back to pass. He's looking. He's going to fire left.
Interception!
Brought back by Hillsboro. Down to about the 20-yard line. And still going about the 15. I have a feeling that was Garrett Meyer who snagged the ball away and forces the first turnover for Union, but what a time for it with 3:36 left.
Perfect timing for Hillsboro to come up with a big play. It's horrible that Union had to be the one on the other end of that, but you know, this is where it comes into play here. Let's watch it. Let's see what happens here. He's an outside backer over here, inside I should say. I think he just gets the hooks and curls and he reads. He just drops underneath, and yeah, there it is. Wow.
It was thrown a little bit wide of the receiver, too. It was intended for Zaire Nash, who ran for that touchdown. He's been one of the key players in this game, but it was a little bit off and right in the hands of Meyer. Meanwhile, a shaken-up Union player has, take a moment here. That was 54, Kervin Desir, the senior, who was shaken up at the end of that play. I mean, the kids have really left their hearts out today.
Yeah.
So Hillsboro in the red zone, looking to make it a 2-score game again with 3:36 left. If they're able to do that, then I think Kevin Carty will breathe a little bit easier tonight.
I believe so. I mean, it's been a real big defensive battle this second half, you know, a bit, you know, this fourth quarter, I should say. But, you know, now it's on Hillsboro to be able to score here.
Here's Schwarz, but he's going to be tripped up from behind. He stays in bounds as he drops for about a yard loss. Good stop by Micah McDowell, the senior, and Union will use their first timeout with 3:26 left. We'll keep it right here.
I think that's a good timeout for Union at the moment. You know, get yourself settled in and get the right defense called. You know, it was big that that Hillsboro stood in bounds. Schwarz managed to stay in bounds rather than go out, forcing them to use the timeout. You know, Union now is looking for a big play on defense if possible. And be able to, you know, come off and, you know, get the ball back, hopefully with some time, with 2 timeouts.
Okay, let's give you some other progress scores. Phillipsburg, 23-10 over Westfield. Somerville, 26-14 over Cranford. Monroe, Hunterdon Central, still 14 apiece. Woodbridge won over Watchung Hills, 13-10. And we'll come back to Bridgewater, Raritan, and Piscataway in December for boys basketball to see if they can eclipse 52-48, which was the final in the football game today. So after the first timeout used by Union, it'll be 2nd and 11 from the 17-yard line. I mean, 32 minutes of football and 52-48.
All right, here we go.
All right, here's a pitch out. And a toss play. And look at this. Crossing the 10 is Schwarz. And he gets folded up to about the 7-yard line. I think he's about a yard short of a first down. Elijah Green with the stop. Union is not stopping the clock at the moment.
I think there's a flag on the play.
Wow, we did not see that flag that came in during the play, and that probably was why Schwarz was able to get so much yardage. It's going backwards now, and that is a huge break for Union. So right now, the flag happened at the 10, so it's 10 yards from the spot, not from the line of scrimmage. So that penalty is going to cost them back to the 20-yard line. So right at the edge of the red zone. So a net of -3. So now it's 2nd and 14. We're going to give them the 20-yard line. Clock does continue to run. And we'll see what Hillsboro does here. Wouldn't be surprised to go back to the run again. Zion Grant is in at fullback and Schwarz behind him. Let's see what Seaman does under center. Pitch to Schwarz. Has a hole. Another flag. He'll get inside the 10 to the 9, and Kevin Carney is pleading his case. Are you kidding me? Now you're going to call holding fouls. Let's see what this is going to be all about.
Yeah, now the refs want to get too involved in this game.
There's 2:38 left. And another hold against Hillsboro.
Holding on the offense.
So back-to-back holding fouls, and all of a sudden, Union's starting to get a little bit more life in this.
Yeah, the only problem with this is, there's still time coming off the clock, but, Hillsboro's going the wrong way, but Union still hasn't got the ball back. What Union wants is the ball back here.
2nd and 25 for the Raiders from the 30-yard line.
So now from the 30, and now wait a second, are we going to have a timeout? Yeah, timeout Union.
Timeout called by Union.
So they will use their second timeout. They have one left. And so well, hey, we got 2 weeks until our next contest here. And right now for Hillsboro, this has been a tougher game than what people had expected. But I would have to say it's been a very entertaining battle. And I thought it was going to be that way from the get-go.
Both teams had something to prove this evening, losing their first games. And, you didn't want to walk out of here with that second loss. Now your season's not looking well. So, right now it's looking good for Hillsboro. Yeah, so.
By the way, for Union, I was going to say for Union, they're not going to be back home for their opener until the 20th against Westfield. They have another road game against St. Joseph's of Metuchen next week. Now on 2nd and long. Let's try this again.
Good defense.
And good defense as Schwarz will get to about the 28. And Union, I think, will be using their last timeout right here. Yep, they will. So we will keep it right here. Now, what do you think Union's talking about here for this last timeout?
You know what? They want to get off the field here. They want to get off the field here. So, they want to be able to get a stop so that this way they can get the ball back. But I do believe it's 4-down territory here for Hillsboro. So, it was a good play by Green, Elijah Green coming up and making the play. So now we have to see what Hillsboro comes up with here, and also you got to know that they want to keep the ball in bounds to keep the clock running, because now Union does not have any more timeouts and they can't stop the clock. But, once again, Hillsboro shot themselves in the foot twice, and they gotta be able to get a first down or use as much time off the clock as possible.
And we want to thank Coach Wayne for Bruce Wayne from the Fifth Corps Touchdown Club for Hillsboro. For the Hillsboro Touchdown Club, Bruce Wayne, our thanks to him again for supporting us here, our 4th year doing this. Actually, I think it's the start of our 5th, because we were in here to the end of 2020, if I recall correctly. So our thanks to him for all the support. And sorry I botched that little thing. Also at Mike Davis, the athletic director as well here. Here's a handoff on 3rd down to Schwarz, and he'll get to about the 25, and now to let the clock run. Now, next week, Hillsboro will be at Ridge, and that's going to be a barn burner. Last year, that was a heck of a game here. And then in 2 weeks' time, our next broadcast here on HSG Network will be home against Sayreville. And that will be definitely a fun one at 7 o'clock right here, Eastern Time on HSG Network. Had to say that because of our Texas audience. Now, also, we're doing a youth league over the weekend, a TCUFL, that will be going on the next few weekends. So tomorrow will be Holly City and Whitman Park, who will be playing in a youth football, and it'll be right here on HSG Network with another broadcast crew. We have timeout Hillsboro now. So down to 1:41 left. So now this game of chess is going on here in the timeout department. Hillsboro down to 1. Union has used all theirs. So What do you think Kevin Curry's going to call here on this 4th and long?
I mean, the one thing you got to say, you want to make sure you don't fumble or give up the ball here. You want to keep the ball in play because they can't stop the clock. Although it'll change on possessions, it's going to stop anyway. Union would still get the ball, but we have a few people. But I would assume that Hillsborough is just going to try to run the ball again and get as much yardage as possible, take as much time off the clock, and then it's up to Union to see what they come out with less than a minute or possibly a minute or so on the clock.
I'll be interested to see what happens here in this 4th down play. And punting's not a bad idea because if you try a field goal, it's 45 yards. You're gonna need a leg of Brandon Aubrey for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what they do. Maybe a little pooch punt may not be a bad idea here. They're backing Zion Grant up. Now he's moving over. This could be an empty gun, and there might be a reason for it. Let's see what happens. Oh, they're going to give it to Zion. And he's not going to get the first down, but he's going to get to about the 20. And it runs a couple seconds off the clock. Now, I would have honestly tried to aim for the sideline, try and get inside the 10.
I would have, did the same thing. I don't know if I would have passed, but I still would have. I would have tried to stretch or something like that just to get the ball to the wide side of the field and possibly break a tackle or something and be able to be a little more successful, get some more time off, and get a little more yards. But here, now you got Union with the ball on the 20. You got 80 yards to go, no timeouts, 1 minute and 36 seconds.
And they know a turnover ends the game. So remember, the interception, of course, in the last possession, we thought was going to have a good chance of sealing it. That was not the case. But now, let's see what Union does. Again, no O'Malley King here. Taking a snap, throwing up the pike. It's caught at the 40-yard line by Duggar. Dakari Duggar's had a nice gain. That's a 20-yard pickup. Nigro's going to be the one to try and do it. Clock stops to reset the chains, and now it's going again.
Yeah, here's your prevent defense. Rather than sitting and playing what you play,
Can't play soft.
Nope.
Here's a throw.
Oh!
And, a sliding catch. Oh, no, it went by incomplete. They went for Duggar again. He almost made a fantastic grab.
Yeah, and defenders came close to intercepting that for a touchdown there. But once again, it stops the clock for Union right now, which is a good thing.
Okay. And don't be surprised if Union's calling like 2 plays at once in the huddle. So if one goes inbounds with no timeouts and the clock running, we get to the next play.
That is correct. That would be a good idea. I mean, Hillsborough is showing me a cover 3 here, but they are not covering the seams well.
Well, they can't play soft here. That's for sure. All right, 2nd and 10 from the 40-yard line. Here's Nigro back, looking, firing left.
Oh!
And it was, boy, I don't know what happened there. It was incomplete intent for 2 receivers, and neither of them got it.
Yeah, neither one. I think if the first receiver wouldn't have touched it, the second one might have a better chance of making the play, although he would have still been in bounds, but it would have been closer to the first down. It would have been at least a yard shy of the first down. But here we are, 3rd down and 10.
Okay, so 3rd and 10, ball at the 40-yard line. And of course, the injury to O'Malley King has proven to be huge in this second half because it's all been Matthew Nigro's sins. And sometimes that's a risk you take when you're playing both sides of the ball and even special teams. Here's Nigro back looking. He's going to float one, and it is caught short of a first down to the 48. Caught by Nash, but the clock runs. It's in the red. We're a minute and counting. 4th and a long 2. This is going to be the game, folks.
Here it is.
Nigro looking here. They spread. Taking the snap. Firing. It is caught and held on for a first down to 45-yard line. And once again, it's Duggar who comes up big. 45 seconds left. Waiting. Now they
spike it.
Yeah, and they down the ball. Wasting it down to make it 2nd and 10. So 42 seconds left, and right now, Union really making this very interesting.
They are making it very interesting. And they're not even trying to get into the end zone at the moment. No timeouts. You would assume that they would try to take a couple of good shots downfield, but they're trying to do it little by little, methodically, march that ball upfield. You know, with Hillsboro playing so soft and giving up so much right now, it's helping Union.
It's been a lengthy game, but it's been a good one. 2nd and 10 for the 45 of Hillsboro. Nigro weighing in the shotgun, tripling to right, going back. Oh, wait. Flags are down, and it's going to be a false start against Union.
Wow, that's terrible. I mean, no time really came off the clock, but, you know, now you're just that much further back.
So now it goes back 2nd and 15.
2nd and 15 for Union from the 50-yard line.
So right at the midfield stripe.
You got 2nd down, 15, 40 seconds left. Let's see what Union comes up with. They need at least a 1st down here.
Well, again, definitely need it. They have 4 receivers. They triple to right. Nigro takes a shotgun snap, looking, bit of a rush. He's going to try and run. He's clotheslined down to 47. Clock continues to run.
And he just set up again quickly.
30, 29, and further down. They spot the ball to 47. 3rd and 17. They got to get to the 35 at Hillsboro. 20 seconds left. They better hurry up.
It was a good call by the defense, pressuring, sending a blitz.
Nigro back. Looking. He's got the lob. There's
got
a
penalty.
Flag down. Pass is incomplete. There's a flag down to 40. It's intended for Elijah Green. It is indeed going to be holding against Union. And they're going to have to decline that because it's going to be 4th and incredibly long. Take it way back. Well, obviously, I mean, you could do 4th down, but you got 9 seconds left. Now you're all the way back to your own 38-yard line.
And now, you know, instead of it being from the 50 that you have to go, now you got to go a lot further, you know, which is why they took, you know, they took the penalty rather than declining it and making it 4th down with only 9 seconds.
Okay, well, these 9 seconds, they can be gone just in a quick flash here. Here we go. Nigro in the shotgun. 4 receivers tripling the near side. Takes a snap. Looking. Rolling left. Looking. He's down, and that's it! Hillsboro's going to win it! The clock runs 0, and Hillsboro's defense saves the day and evens their record to 1-1 in a thrilling 21-14 win here at Hillsboro High School tonight. I think I'll be like Kevin Cartier and say, Joe, your final thoughts.
Wow, great game. Great defensive hold by Hillsboro here in the last couple of seconds there and coming up with a big 2 sacks there at the end of the game, which gave them, you know, the victory here. But all in all, great game. With number 57 on the sack to end the game there. But once again, you had a great game between these 2 teams. Both teams came to play this evening.
I tell you, Joey, senior leadership, Xander Borowski, we mentioned at the beginning of the game, had to sack to win it. And that's why I have veteran leadership like that in games like this. What a wonderful game here in Hillsboro, and I hope you come back with us in 2 weeks' time when Hillsboro will be home against Sayreville here on HSG Network as, of course, kickoff will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Hillsboro will be at Ridge next week, so hopefully we'll see you in 2 weeks' time, but what a great game, folks. Your final here from Hillsboro, the Hillsboro Raiders 21, the Union Farmers 14. Congratulations to them on a great performance. That's it for us here on HSG Network. For Joey Pagan, Howard Gaber, I'm Tom Wilkins. Thanks for joining us here on HSG Network, and we'll see you in 2 weeks here in Hillsboro.